Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Make Mine a Double, a twisted narrative actual play in the world of Blades of the Dark. My name is Kristian, and I will be your host for this evening. You may see some familiar faces among the scoundrels here tonight, and a new one. However, they may not be playing familiar characters. Duskfall, a city where the most light seen is an eerie twilight during what counts as daylight hours. Electric lights powered by Leviathan oil fight valiantly against the gloom and smog. The sun was broken, they say, many years before, when the gates of death were shattered. But, well, those are just stories. Since the job at the brothel, the gang has gained in strength and in numbers. A month has passed. Under the terms of Auntie Helen's will, you have all come under the tutelage of a man called Sark, a former Lamp Black. The Lamp Blacks being a notable gang in Duskfall, former lamplighters who lost their jobs when the lamps switched from being oil to being electric. Seen by many as folk heroes, but by others as a menace. Scratch the surface, however, and well, they are just all like the rest. And on this evening, you find yourselves in Auntie Helen's drawing room, standing in front of Sark as he prepares to see what you are all made of. I would like you to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about the characters you're playing tonight and what they look like, please. And we will start with Kyle.
Good evening. I'm Kyle. I've been role-playing for around 5 years. This is my first dip into Blades in the Dark after Kristian's last playthroughs inspired me to try out a bunch of other systems. So thank you for that, Kristian. Tonight I'll be playing Vixen. She's about 5'8", with blue eyes and dirty blonde hair. Wears a long sort of waistcoat and likes sort of a checkered flat cap.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Kyle. And next we go to Sarah.
Hi, yes, I'm Sarah. That's Yig on Discord, and I'm going to be reprising Grimlyn today. Grimlyn wears a long, sort of tatty, grubby kind of skirt and a very tight waistcoat that pulls in at the waist. She has a shawl, and probably somewhere near her is a kind of very tatty sort of carpet style bag. And she has also a very tatty looking straw boater hat, but she's very attached to it and it goes pretty much everywhere with her. She has long dark hair and she generally wears it in a plait down the back of her kind of hair. That's her.
Thank you very much. Rachel.
So, hi, I'm Rachel, and I am playing tonight Jellybean. She's a young girl, maybe sort of 11-ish, and she looks pretty cute, colourful, clothes that look also quite rich. She looks quite well-to-do in her outfit, but she looks very pleasant and friendly, but might not be. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And finally, but by no means least, Andy.
Hey, I'm Andy from Twisted Narrative. Firstly, I want to say a big thank you for Kristian putting this together. Tonight, though, I won't be Andy anymore. Tonight, Matthew, that's a nod to an old TV program, I will be Barkin Larkin. What you see is a man of intermediate age, very difficult to really judge how long he has suffered in Duskfall. He's wearing a long black woolen coat, collar up even though he's inside, tricorn hat covering greasy shoulder length hair. There's candle wax all over his coat and it's peeling off like old scabs. wearing fingerless gloves, and the fingers that you see emerging from these gloves, the nails are broken and the fingers are stained with ink and maybe some other things. You're not entirely sure what. And he's looking at the rest of the crew, and in particular at Sark, in expectations of what this night might bring.
Wonderful, thank you. So, the electric lamps on the walls flicker and flutter as they illuminate the large form of Sark and the diminutive form of his companion, Arkwright. Sark is a looming figure in a flat cap, broad-shouldered and big of belly. He stands across the other side of the large table in Auntie Helen's parlour, upon which has been placed a map of Doskvol. Arkwright is a smaller figure with wireframe spectacles and a thin moustache. He goes from sneering at the map to sneering at each one of you. Sark, however, regards you carefully, his cigar rolling from one side of his mouth to the other. So, use the lot that Auntie H wanted me to teach. Bless her. She had an eye for talent. I hope you don't let her down. Well,
Of course not, sir.
Oh, Jellybean. Good to see you. Good to see you.
And you?
I still remember when you were Yay, aye. You're a good lass, and that's why you've all been chosen for this job. Well, me and Arkwright here have got this job for you. One that's bubbled up from some associates of mine. Former associates, I should say, as a lampblack. A real chance to maybe right some wrongs and maybe take the toffs down a peg or two. What do you think? You want to stick to the ruling classes, eh, Grimlyn?
Never miss an opportunity.
Yeah, didn't think you would. And win some points with the local concerns, eh? Vixen, Barkin.
Yeah, it's a job. We need to eat.
And what about you, Vixen? You happy to do more work?
There's always time for more work and making contacts.
I knew you lot were the best pick of the bunch. Well then, time for me to let you know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, there's a little item that some former associates of mine would like. I believe you've been, appraised of the situation before. Well, no one's done anything about it, and now Lampblacks have come to me expressly asking me to take care of it. But, well, I'm out of the game. You, however, are not. There's a lady, you see, by the name of Mrs. Loveday Boone. She lives on Copper Avenue down in Night Market. See, her husband, Gregory Eye-Gouger Boone, has a medal, prize medal. And my mates in the Lampblacks, they want it, you see. They're willing to pay for it as well. They're willing to pay 6 coin for it. And that is a lot of scratch for something like that. So, I thinks you lot goes into Mrs. Boone's house and take it. Now, here's the thing. Normally, it's kept in a safe, right? All safe and sound. But, well, Mrs. Boone likes to host dinner parties, and she's been known to get this medal out. In fact, she gets the medal out in every single dinner party. Shows it off to people. Proud of her husband, Eye-Gouger she is. Well, a lot of blood was spilt for that medal, and spirit wardens were busy that night. So, gets the medal, get it out, bring it to me. We fence it, get the money, everyone's happy. What do you say?
Oh, I'm sure we could pay nice Mrs. Lovejoy a new visit.
Well, I'm sure Mrs. Boone will be very happy. Her name's that's Loveday Boone. Loveday Boone. She's well, little bit hard of sight these days. She's getting on a bit.
What a pity.
So you happy to take the job?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got 6 coins is 6 coins. And are you getting a cut of that, or is that all ours?
Oh, that's after I've taken my cut.
That's good then. That's good.
Yeah. So, what say you? You in?
Certainly.
What about you, Grimlyn? You in?
I mean, I feel like it's a done deal.
Yeah. Vixen?
It presents a wonderful challenge and looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Oh, I couldn't be happier. Well then, let's get to action. And so, Sark wanders around the table, pointing out where her house is on Copper Avenue in Night Market. The avenue itself is a subterranean street of new construction, linking Bottle Lane to Nettle Street, with a ceiling 2 stories high as it is subterranean, supported by iron struts of fanciful design. Lavish townhouses form along the walls, with mock roof facades as a clear display of wealth. Buzzing of electric streetlights seem to be amplified in this cavernous space, with discreet passageways leading to the backs of houses, allowing for servants to come and go without anyone knowing which house they belong to. So, in Blades in the Dark, we like to get to the action as quickly as possible, but I will ask you, you have to choose a method of entrance to this thing. So when you start, you choose a plan, and let me just bring up the page. So when you go into a plan, you have to choose a method of ingress into the job. So you choose assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, or transportation. If you choose assault, you are doing violence to a target. And again, this is just to get you into the action, to that first step. Then there's the rest of the job to try and steal the medal. With deception, you need to choose the method of deception. With stealth, you need to choose the point of infiltration. With occult, you need to choose the arcane method. With social, you choose the social connection. And with transport, you choose the route and means. So, with all that being said, think about which plan you want to go for and whether there's any information you want to gather prior to this happening. However, this is the first step of doing a job. So, over to you, players.
Okay. Well, I think Jellybean could possibly get us in with the social route. She's from a posh family. And they...
You are well to do.
Well, yes, Barkin.
Sounds good.
I'm sure my parents have been to Mrs. Boone's before, or at least they must know.
If you wish that to be a social connection, you are yes, I'm more than you're happy. So if you are from a noble background, there is actually a high likelihood that your parents would have been invited to one of Mrs. Boone's soirees before.
Jellybean, I don't want to be personal, but where are your parents now?
Oh, I'm sure they're at home. Mother's probably playing bridge.
All right. Good to know.
I mean, I suppose I could just ask her, but she won't probably want to extend the invitation to me directly. We might do better if I go and talk to Mrs. Boone and make sure she's happy for me and get you some kind of, I don't know, servants.
Servant?
Well, if you think you've got a better suit, you could be my cousins, possibly.
Not not sure.
I think I'd much rather skulk round the back, because if anyone needs to try and get into that safe or to try and pass off that medal before it reaches the dinner table, then I'd much rather be there.
I mean, yeah, so Kristian, I don't know how much you can split the means of ingress. I'm quite happy for us to have some socially, publicly going in and some...
Yes. So it's determining the main route in. So if you wish to get into the dinner party, or if everyone else is going to go and try and sneak around the back and actually stealth in, then it sounds like you want more of a stealth plan, because you should easily get in. The engagement role will tackle all of this. It's just what's the main point of getting in. So if we say maybe most of the party wants to stealth in the back, that's fine. But I need to know whether you wish to go through either assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, or transport. Sounds like occult might be off the table.
I didn't put it on the table in the first place. I finally taken it off the table, put it in my pocket, and it's doing its thing in my pants.
Well, if Jellybean goes in, she might be able to help the stealth route, possibly.
Well, I want to hear from this one here, this Vixen, because it's going to swing the balance, you see, at the moment. Swing the balance. You, Vixen.
I'm more inclined towards social. If we can perhaps get off as perhaps our noble lady, potentially her servants. Can we perhaps find out if it's always a particular servant that carries the medal? Could we simply be the one on the table?
That is a very good question, and you can actually give me a role as part of gathering information to decide before you do the engagement role. So you can choose one of your skills to do that. So which one of your skills would you like to use, Vixen?
So it's more relevant to be survey or study. I think study seems more appropriate.
Okay, so tell me what you're going to do, please.
I am going to various higher class bars, sit in the back, have drinks, and listening to conversations about these parties that have previously happened, and see if a particular named butler always is the one that's mentioned, or whether it's always just a bunch of different names.
Okay, so what I would like you to do, how many dots have you got in study?
Study a single dot.
So could you please roll me a single d6? 1, 2, 3 is a failure. 4 and a 5 is a success with a complication. Oh dear. So on a 2, that is a failure. So unfortunately, that means you go into these high class establishments, and it would seem that most people are actually quite cagey talking to you about this, or sorry, talking out in the open about this subject. It seems that a lot of people don't actually want to talk about Mrs. Boone's engagements. In fact, no one actually wants to acknowledge that anyone's been to one of them. So it's not that you're not good at listening to them. It's just that no one wants to talk about it.
Okay.
So, is there any other information anyone would like to gather before we go to potentially the engagement role with the knowledge of I guess you said it was going to be social with Jellybean getting you in?
I guess Jellybean could go and ask her mother, have you ever been to one of these parties?
Yeah, some intel would be useful, especially
Yeah.
with what Vixen. I'm assuming Vixen has told us what they've doing this. So it'd be interesting to see what your parents. Can I come and like raid your larder whilst you ask? I want to practice being a servant.
Well, Mr. Barkin, if you can get in without being noticed and rearrange the larder without anyone throwing you out, then yes, by all means.
All right. Not sure I can do that.
Of course, if you are caught, Father might have you shot. But It's up to you.
I tell you what, you go and speak to your parents. I'll stay here. I'll be sitting on what I'm good at, literally, because it's off the table in my pants.
Lovely.
So, you go and see your mother then to try and gather some more information, Jellybean. I'd like you to give me a skill roll, please. What are you going to do? How are you going to gather this information from your mother? She's quite a frosty woman. She's currently sitting in her study reading a book on bridge.
Okay. I'd like to use sway ideally because that's
Okay.
my best.
Yep.
That I'm persuading her through some subterfuge to talk about this party, not because I'm, obviously going or anything like that, but because I've heard on the grapevine that, I don't know, maybe she's not going to invite her next time or something.
Yep. Okay. Roll me your sway then, please. Let's have a look and see what you get. Ooh, a 4 and a 3. So a 4 is a success with a complication. And she looks up from her book on bridge and says, "Why are you bothering me, gal?" Oh, must be the weekend again. I really must speak to those tutors we hired for you. They don't seem to be doing very well teaching you now, do they?
My grades are excellent, Mother.
Well, I'm sure they are. We pay the tutors enough for them to be. You wish to know about Mrs. Boone's parties? Oh, what a dreadful woman. Always showing that medal of her husband's. Oh, and I swear she has a thing for that servant of hers. What's his name? Featherstone. That's it, Featherstone.
Oh.
He is always with her, at least when they go get the medal. She's always relying on him, of course. Her husband's never there, so, things, well, I'll explain it to you when you're older.
I understand the scandals of the upper classes, Mother.
Well, certainly scandals there. But yes, Mrs. Boone and Featherstone are normally side by side, and they'll go get the medal at putting it out. And I've seen that medal 4 times now. I don't want to see it again.
Do they at least bring it out after dinner?
Oh, yes. You have the most dreadful dinner. I mean, there's a soup course, a fish course, a meat course, a sweet course, a cheese course, and then some tea and biscuits. And then when we've all retired to the drawing room, she gets it out. But of course, I'm full and tired, and I just want to go home. And she won't let you leave until you've seen the ruddy thing in its bell jar. Ugh.
Oh, in a bell jar? That sounds gauche.
Yes. Well, it keeps it in a bell jar, and then they take the bell jar back upstairs to whatever safe it's in. I don't know. I just know she's a frightfully awful woman. Why do you want to go to one of these parties?
Oh, well, it's a good opportunity possibly to be ready for socializing.
Very well. I've got an invitation to the next one. You can go if you want to.
Oh, well, thank you, Mother.
But your father has to take you.
Won't Father be busy?
I'll persuade him.
Oh, well, thank you, Mother.
And that's your complication. So yes, you have a way in for you, but your father has to go. So we're going to be looking at then for the engagement role for how everyone else is going to get in.
Okay, so if we're not choosing social, then I guess we'll default to you, Grimlyn, with stealth. Is that your primary choice?
Yes, I think so. Those access routes for servants, that means that you can get most of the way without anyone actually knowing which house you would belong to, means that people aren't going to be able to really recognize people. So we have a good chance of getting close to the house before we even have to worry about it. I think that would be a good plan.
Wonderful. So let's move to the engagement roll then. So Jellybean, you've got to weigh in. Vixen, Grimlyn, and Barkin, you have a weigh in. So for the engagement roll, we get 1d6 full luck. And then I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And this may add or take away dice. So is the operation particularly bold or daring, would you say? You're going into the home of, you're going into the home of a well-to-do lady who is married to a member of the Bluecoats, a high-up member of the Bluecoats. That is the de facto police in Doskvol. They are not particularly nice.
Is this eye gouger the one that was mentioned in the brothel previously?
No, he wasn't in the brothel. No, that was a grey cloak.
Grey cloak.
So the blue cloaks are the official one. The grey cloaks are former blue cloaks.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, blue coats.
What do you all think? Is it daring to take something in plain sight?
Yes, but he's not going to be there, is he?
He's not, but there's a lot of other people that can ID us.
I think given the entrance route being connected to multiple houses, the often hiring of additional staff, presumably for these parties, it should be a fairly easy entrance, though. Given the level of there's possible security with these extra servants being hired.
No one
They
looks
need
at
a
this bar.
disguise.
So I default to you two, Vixen and Grimlyn, who seem to think it's going to be a cake walk, and I quite like cake.
Okay, so is this operation complex or contingent on many factors? I'd say no, actually, on that one. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? This is her house. This is her where she lives with this thing in a safe. Or could you argue it another way?
Could argue that it's being brought out of the safe specifically, and if that's when we aim to hit it, it's a vulnerability.
Brilliant. Then that's an extra d6. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have any particular defense or special preparations? No, they do not, if you're hitting them when it's taken out. Can any of your friends or contracts provide aid or insight for this operation? Well, I will give you an extra d6 for the father being there. But is there any other contacts that can help you in getting in the back here? Have you got any contacts, the three of you?
I don't.
I don't think my contact is going to be helpful here unless they have routine deliveries from an apothecary.
Not this time, no. And what about you, Vixen?
Tracy, my spy contact, might be able to get some information on the servants that are commonly hired or where they're hired from.
Okay, brilliant. Then, yeah. So that is an extra d6 then. Are there any other, do you have any enemies or rivals that would interfere with this, do you reckon? Anyone you know that would actively work against you for this?
I've got someone always actively working against me.
Oh, you
And
do.
it's you.
Let's take a d6 off then. Yes, indeed. You do always have someone working against you.
I'm such a useful person to have with you as a crew member.
Yeah, you're good, aren't you? So yes, as you're about to head into this blue cloak, well, I mean, the blue cloak's very rarely there, but yeah, this blue cloak family member house. So finally, let's go back here and go back to this. Right. Are there any other elements we need to consider? No, I think at the moment we're all right with 2d6. So what I do is I roll 2d6, and it determines how well you get in. Again, like with everything else, a 1, 2, or 3 is a failure. A 4, 5, and 6 is a success, but a 4 and 5 is a success with a complication. A 6.
Nice.
Brilliant. So, what's your contact's name, Vixen?
Tracy.
Tracy. So, your contact, Tracy, the spy, does one better than being able to tell you about the servants. She actually offers you some servant uniforms so that you can essentially enter seen but unseen. And that is where the scene opens. The three of you are currently standing in the kitchen, as every back door of every posh house leads into the kitchen. So you're currently standing in the kitchen, which is awash with activity. There are plates being taken backwards and forwards. There are servants who are saying, where does this belong? I don't know, stick it over there. Lots of people who are new to this place, all barging around and walking around. People jostling through, saying, "Oh, get out of the way! Sorry, coming through," and just generally ignoring that you're there as you stand on this lower floor of the house. However, up in the main room, you have been presented to Mrs. Loveday Boone, Jellybean, and she is stuck her hand out for your father, who is kind of shaking it and kissed it, and then goes, "Oh, what a lovely young child you are! Oh, such beautiful hair and such beautiful eyes." You are aware that she is really struggling to see you as she is currently talking 2 meters to your right.
Well, thank you for hosting, Mrs. Boone. It's lovely to come.
Oh, no, it's absolutely wonderful to have you here, my dear. Now, please, let us all go into the dining room, for I believe the soup will be served shortly. Featherstone, please help me. I feel a little faint. You realize when she says she feels a little faint, she really means she feels a little drunk. She grabs onto Featherstone's arm, and the two of them walk in. Featherstone is a very serious-looking man in a very, very cleanly cut butler's uniform. As you sit at the table, you are joined by a fair few others. You are introduced to a lady called Petra Strangford, who is a city clerk. You are introduced to Naria Dalmore, who is an up-and-coming Leviathan fleet owner. You are introduced to Colonel Polonia Brooker, who is a former high-up in the Blue Cloaks, and Cobb Aaron, a journalist for the Doskverlight, the high-class paper and magazine. But we will move away from you at the moment, back downstairs to where Vixen, Grimlyn, and Barkin are currently standing in this kitchen that is awash with activity.
Right. Have you two got a plan?
Need to find out where this safe is, don't we?
Yeah, I guess. But we're waiting for it to come out the safe, aren't we?
Yeah, but it would be good to know when they're going to go and get it. We don't have a way of knowing that right now, do we?
No.
No, I mean, I passed on what my parents said, that it was after dinner. But other than that, we don't know.
I'm a little concerned why no one was speaking to Vixen. Now, I can smell something here. Something not quite right. I mean, normally they talk to you, Vixen, and because they're not, I don't know. Something is amiss here. I'm going to go and try and find some staff members that are permanent staff and give them the once over, yeah, and give them the old Barkin Larkin charm, and see what I can find out. I mean, that looks like the head cook there. I'm going to go and have a chat with them.
Okay. So, what do you want to do to the cook, or what do you want to say to the cook, or how do you want to go about this? Let's make this a roll.
I'm going to firstly address, like, I'm assuming the cook is super busy, kind
Yes,
of.
yeah.
Like that. So I'm not. I want to make myself useful.
Okay.
I want them to look to me as if, oh, that's a new face, but they're actually making my life easier rather than harder.
Okay.
You know,
Yes. Brilliant.
that's my initial sort of. I've got no social skills. I've
No,
got
no.
study, attune, consult, tinker,
Okay.
insight.
What do you think would be best? You pick one, and remember, everybody, you can. Oh, I'm really sorry. We should have done load. Sorry. Just one step back. What's the loadout everyone's taken? Is it heavy, medium, or light?
Well, I think with us being sort of staff, light for me, because like you don't really want to be coming in with a tooled up.
I mean, you can have stuff hidden. These staff uniforms have coats that go over the top. You can hide stuff underneath should you want to.
Well, I'm going to go light anyway.
Yep. Jellybean?
Light. I mean,
Vixen?
I won't be wearing a servant's outfit. So.
Yeah. No. Vixen?
Yeah, I agree with Barkin. Light load seems appropriate.
And Grimlyn?
I'm going normal load because I feel like this could be requiring some tools.
That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to start a clock as well with 6 pieces, which is dinner. So currently, no things are filled out. For each course that passes, as there are 6 courses, I will fill in a segment of load. So remember, when you are doing these roles, if you need help can be had. You can assist one another. So any other player that wishes to help Barkin with this endeavor can take 1 stress out of the maximum of 9, and they can give Barkin 1 more die. If you don't have any dots or die in a roll, you roll 2d6 and take the lowest. So if giving him a die means you actually give him a better chance. You could do a group action, which would mean Barkin would lead it. Everyone that's available to would roll, and then you would take 1 stress, Barkin, if you were leading it, for each failure you have. Or you can take 2 stress and gain a dice yourself. So it's 1 stress for someone else to help you, 2 stress for you to give yourself an extra d6. So, Barkin, what do you want to use? Do you have any dots in it? And does anyone want to help out?
I think I'm going to initially use insight if it works in the way to kind of judge the best way to approach. Everybody knows that the cook rules the kitchen and perhaps the rest of the household realistically. So that is the target that I'm making.
Lovely.
I have two dots in insight.
Oh, wonderful. So,
if possible, I'd like to help with Barkin.
Brilliant. You take 1 stress then, please, Vixen, and let's give you 3 dice. So I'm going to roll 3 dice for you.
If you can.
Oh, 2 5s and a 2. So just so everybody knows, 2 6s or 2 or more 6s in Blades in the Dark is what is called a resounding success. It's a critical success. So something really great happens. So I have just been told insight is the category and not a skill.
All right, sorry.
We'll deal with that. No, it's fine. We've rolled. We've done something. We'll keep moving. Doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Because you've used something in that. I'm absolutely happy with it. Someone's helped you. You've got dice. We rolled. Which skill in insight would you like to have used? Just because I don't have the list here. So it's
Sorry, I've just got my character sheet here. Is consort part of insight?
Yes, consort is
It'll
perfect.
be consort then.
Yeah,
I have
that's
only
perfect.
one dot in there though.
But that's fine. You got 2 5s and 2 5s and a 2, but that's absolutely perfect. So 5 is a success, but with a complication. So you are in a good position here, though. I will happily say you are in a controlled position because of the way that you entered. So the downsides are going to be really low here, and I will probably say as you go up to the cook to consort with them, they are lifting a very heavy and very hot pot. So I would like you, I think you kind of get out of the way, but some of this liquid in the pot splashes on your uniform, makes it just a little grubby. Not a terrible thing, just makes it a little grubby. However, the cook looks you up and down, and the cook is it's a lady with chef written all over her. Cook written all over her. She's got big broad arms, big broad shoulder, and she's carrying this thing around. She's wearing the hat. She looks around and goes, "Can I help you? Oh, sorry, I've splashed on you there."
It's no trouble. My fault getting in your way. You're busy. I was just going to ask you the same thing. We all know that these are busy times and they don't need me at the moment. So I want to speak to the one that really runs this household.
About bloody time. Someone that recognizes the value of me. You are the first person that's come up to me and asked me for what to do. Oh, right. Well, what you can do as we're getting ready for the soup course is if you could get those bowls there upstairs and onto the dolly outside the main room with your friends. Yeah, I see you over there as well. She's pointing at you, Vixen. I see you over there as well. If you could take your crew, get those bowls upstairs, then I won't have to get one of these other ones to do it. And they seem to be absolutely bloody incapable of following orders.
Right on it.
Go
cook.
up, dearie. Oh, you're a good one.
I have to say that smells so good, so good. It's the best that I've ever smelled. I have to say.
Oh, you're so. Yeah, she puts it down for a moment. Says, "Come here." She gets a spoon out, dips a little bit in, and says, "Try that."
Well, I wouldn't say no.
It is delicious at the moment, and she's just like, "Well, I've got to add another load of salt and pepper into this because Her Majesty upstairs doesn't like it like this. So you've got it at its best. But well, you come back see me later, and well, maybe some of the joint will fall into your pocket, if you know what I mean."
Anything you need tonight, I'm at your command, Your Majesty, I say, reflecting what she called upstairs.
You. Won't you pick up those bloody buns right now? And she goes wandering off with this big pot. As I said, there's things bubbling away. There's probably about 5 or 6 chefs in here, and she is screaming at these different chefs to do things. And there's lots of people in uniforms like yourselves going to and fro. However, there is a stack of bowls, and she's intimated that you need to take them upstairs to the main floor where everyone is dining and put them on a trolley, which is outside the dining room.
Perfect. Okay, seems we've got access to the house. Official access now.
So are you going to go upstairs?
Grimlyn, Vixen, you take the lead on this. So I'll come with you, of course. I say I'm currently wringing out my uniform and sucking it.
Yeah. Again, it tastes delicious, even though now it tastes delicious and of the dye that is still slightly, wet.
That's okay.
Wonderful. So you the three of you go and pick up these bowls, and you go upstairs, and you place them on the trolley. I'm going to ask you what your next move will be, but then we're going to cut back to Jellybean. Because the soup course is about to be served. As you deposit these on the cart, there are people moving around. You're in quite a large hallway at the moment with many doors off this main hallway. You can see that the doors are closed that go into the main room at the moment. You can hear sort of, you can hear lots of chatter and things going on at the moment. Quite a loud, bombastic voice talking. There are another set of double doors that are open on the opposite the dining room doors that lead into like a drawing room, large leatherback chairs, big bookcases, that sort of thing. And there's a staircase that leads upstairs. And you've come from downstairs where the kitchen is. So what would your next move be? Where would you be going from here? There are servants walking around everywhere at the moment.
Well, I mean, I certainly look at both Grimlyn and Vixen to lead me, to move for the next move.
So if I remember rightly, it was described to us that she brings it from upstairs, the medal, is that right?
She brings it from upstairs again, yes.
Yes. So Grimlyn will be looking to see if that's the only set of stairs or if there might be some stairs that servants use, like the servants' quarters are often up the back at the top, because those will be less noticeable for getting upstairs than the main kind of house's stairs, but needs be.
Okay, so again, I'm going to ask for a roll for this one. So what skill would you like to use?
To try to find somewhere, because I was going to use Prowl to go and kind of just stalk around the house.
Okay. You can still use Prowl if you want to try and be sneaky about it and get into areas you might not necessarily be allowed in. There are many closed doors around as well on this level.
Yeah, I think what I might do is I might try and sneak somewhere out of sight while the servants are all going in to take in the soup, and therefore the corridor will be quieter. And then I might just use that to my advantage to get upstairs.
Okay, brilliant. Wonderful. So can you please give me a Prowl roll? And if anyone wants to help, or if you want to all do it together and do a group action, you can do that. It's up to you. What do you want to do?
I don't think I'm particularly good at creeping around. So I'm not going to do a Prowl roll. What about you, Vixen?
I'm not the most skilled at prowling.
Okay. So
best
just you on your own going upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, and that is a 6. Wonderful.
Oh.
Love it. I love it. So yes, the soups go in, and as kind of the three of you are standing there, Barkin and Vixen, you see Grimlyn go off and kind of disappear into the shadows for a bit. And then the soup's brought up and it's kind of put on this big tray. The big turene's brought in. And then one of the more official looking servants that you're fairly certain works here full time wheels it in. The doors are opened by 2 other servants. The doors are closed again afterwards. And you hear, "The soup is served." And then the servants come out again. The doors are closed. They go back downstairs. Grimlyn, your plan of sneaking upstairs, the main stairs going upstairs are now empty. So you can sneak upstairs, and we'll come back to everyone else in a moment. However, Jellybean, you are seated in this very fine dining room. There are all these people wearing their finest clothing that they can afford, which some of them is not very much. Colonel Polonia, he is currently sitting there with sort of, he's a big gentleman, completely bald, pair of glasses, but they're too sort of small for his face. Big chin, massive belly, and he's just well, I remember when I was in the Blue Cloaks, where the people come in, and they were, trying to start to bash them on the heads. Oh, how we laughed.
Very good, Colonel.
Don't normally see young girls at this thing. She yours, he says it, your father. And your father, who is a rather thin, wiry man who always looks like he's got a cold, and he's always kind of doing that to his nose, goes, yes, young Jellica is mine. Yes, she's very studious and very well behaved. We pay for very good tutors, and yes, is there pepper in this soup? I'm afraid I'm allergic to pepper. Oh dear, I'm allergic to pepper. But the soup is brought in and put down. Is there anything you would like to do, Jellica, as all of this cacophony of stuff is going on around you?
Well, I'd like to make sure I do have the introductions with as many influential looking people as possible.
Okay. What would you like to get out of that?
Mostly potential for the future.
Okay.
It's not
that's good
right now, but obviously it might come to be useful if I need to distract them when the medal's brought in to know something about them.
Okay, so can you give me a roll, please? What skill would you like to do?
I'll use consort, I guess, because they're my social peers.
Yeah. Now, I would like to remind people you also have access to flashbacks as well. So because Blades in the Dark is based around the idea that you just go straight into it, you can flashback to do things outside of the score, or maybe even early in the score. You can't change the present. You can't do things like that, but you can Bill and Ted it, where say, I would have set up this thing here to do this thing. You'll have to make a roll for it, and you will take 0, 1, or 2 stress, depending on how bad it is. I'm not saying you have to do that here. I'm just reminding everyone you have access to flashbacks. So, Jellybean.
At this point, I'm happy to just roll consort.
You can push yourself. I mean, again, you're in a controlled position right now, so the outcome will be good.
No, I'll just roll it and see what happens.
Okay. So, with a 4, you get the measure of a few people, and you're tell me how you would be to them. Tell me sort of your general demeanor to everybody.
So Jellybean has this very sweet and cute girly persona. So she would be, oh hello, Mr. Colonel. My mother told me so much about you, and could you tell me a little more about that business and how you know Mrs. Colonel Boone? And oh yes, and you've seen the medal before. I've heard all about this medal.
So you're talking to the Colonel. However, you are cut off by Petra Strangford, City Clerk, and Petra says, let me tell you about the medal. You don't want to hear about the Colonel's nasty business. You see, this medal was awarded for great valiance, wasn't it, Mrs. Boone? And she's like, yes, my husband is a very valiant man. He valiantly did many things in his life. He is still an absolute pillar of the community, you have to understand. The city owes Captain Boone, Gregory, we are on first name terms after all, owes him a lot. I, as a city clerk, well, I've dealt with the Blue Cloaks a lot in my career. We've got a good relationship. And, well, you seem like a bright young girl, so I'll be taking note of you. She smiles at you. Mrs. Boone, I think we should both take note of this child. She seems rather sweet. Could you see her playing the piano in your parlor? Do you play piano?
Oh, yes, I've got a tutor.
Oh, wonderful. Maybe afterwards, Mrs. Boone, if you agree, maybe Jellica, was it?
Yes, that's right.
Maybe you could play piano in the parlor and we could all listen to you.
Oh, I'm sure that would be lovely.
Lovely. And she leans in close and says, "That's just so we don't have to listen to old Windbag there talking about his war stories again."
Acquaintance.
So, I'm not going to. So you rolled a 4, which means that comes with a complication. Now, the complication is who Petra is. You don't know, but somebody else in the party does know who Petra is. And I will let them maybe reveal that in the future, should they wish to. But hopefully they know who it is.
All right.
So, but the soup is brought out, the soup is cleared up, and the fish course is on its way. And as that happens, we go back to everybody else. So, Grimlyn, you've gone up the stairs. However, I want to go to Vixen and Barkin. Vixen, what are you going to be doing when Grimlyn? You see Grimlyn go up the stairs whilst everyone else is kind of this whole area is now clear. What's your plan?
I think Barkin and I are less capable of sneaking around. I might try and hunt down that second servant's staircase for a more discreet entrance up.
Brilliant. So how are you going to do that? Again, you can do something now, or you could flash back and see if there's something you could think up in a flashback that could help you.
Suppose I'll attempt to flash back to Tracy. She was able to get us the uniforms and had a bit of information whether she maybe heard of any of the servants come back talking about the staircase.
Okay. So you do still have to make a roll. So choose one of your skills to use with Tracy. And let's see what happens. So what skill would you like to use?
I think sway is a persuasive skill, isn't it?
It is, yes, it is. So remember, you can push yourself, so you take 2. Let's role play this.
Okay, well, what sort of information have you had from the servants? Have you heard of where do they go? Is it all in the kitchen? Do they go upstairs? Do they go into the dining room? How do they go about?
Okay. So Tracy, what does Tracy look like? What does what does Tracy look like?
Tracy stands about 5'2". She has black hair, generally braided into a ponytail. Still wear a fairly smart, if slightly ragged-looking dress, and enjoys frequenting many different taverns to get some information.
Brilliant. And that is where you two are meeting at this moment to get these uniforms and get this information. And Tracy sort of runs her hand through her black hair and through the braid. Well, you know what? I have heard a few things. I heard there is, from the bottom, right at the back of the building, there's a staircase that goes right from the bottom right to the top, because all the servants, they sleep up in the attic, all the ones that stay there. All the others, they clear out once it's all done. Normally, before the end of the evening, they've all packed up and gone, like just before it comes to doing the cheese and the biscuits or whatever it is at the end. Everything's wrapped up by that point. But yeah, there's a servant staircase at the back of the house, and generally that's only used by the servants, though, not by the other the temporary staff. They're generally not told about that one. So, but I mean, well, who's gonna?
But a lot of valuable information.
Indeed. So back to the present. You've got a really good idea of where this staircase is, because essentially she's given you a kind of a map in your head of the layout of the building. And through that, she's also informed you that at the back of the house, on the second floor, somewhere at the back of the house on the second floor with no windows around it, is the study. And that is where the safe is.
Okay. Let's It was a flashback. I would have relayed this to everyone before we
Yes,
came in.
yeah,
but,
it's and everyone is can have that information because yes, you would have picked it up earlier. So, Grimlyn, you've gone up the stairs with that information. So, Vixen and Barkin, what's your next move? And then we'll go back to Grimlyn.
Barkin, what do you think? We need to be up there by the sort of cheese course, but we have a bit of time before then.
Sorry, I'm a bit lost with the plan. Are we trying to get it out of the safe, or are we waiting for them to get it from the safe and then we're going to nobble them, or are we waiting for them to bring it down and it's going to disappear?
Suspect the greatest chance for us to get it and get out would be to wait for it to be on its way back and take it before.
I
Go
like your
up,
thinking. Yeah, they all see it. Oh, look at this! It's a medal. Yeah, shiny. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen it. How big is it? No, it doesn't matter, does it? Really? I mean, a medal's a medal at the end of the day. So you're going to take it back upstairs, and we'll all be lurking in the study, waiting.
Setting up an ambush seems like the best way to get it. Make sure we get it before it's in the safe.
I like it, Am. I've never seen a bush of it though. I think I'm going to do some sniffing around. I mean, I'll meet you up those stairs in a little while if you want to go. Come with me. I'm going to go and see if there's anything unusual about this house. Unusual. Didn't old Jelly Tot say something about it being in a bell jar or something like that? Now, you and me, yeah, I might have to rummage in my pants and bring out my occult knowledge now. A bell jar might be, warding it or something. We don't want to be taken by surprise now, do we? Well, some people pay for that. I bet a lot of those in there pay for that kind of stuff. Anyway, what was your question?
Do you need to go somewhere more discreet for this?
No. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna call up my spirit animal and, lose control.
Okay, so Barkin, it sounds like you're going to be using one of your actions. So, what action are you going to use, and what are you trying to achieve?
I believe it is a tune. Is that the skill for trying to sense the supernatural?
It would be, yes, it would be.
So I'm not an idiot. Well, I am an idiot, but I'm not that kind of idiot. So I'm not deliberately trying to sabotage the job. So, and I am aware that when I reach out to my inner spirit animal, there are some sort of visible effects. So I'm going to kind of try and do it away from a watching audience, the other servants or whatever. And I would very much like Vixen to watch my back while I do this.
Brilliant. So, how many dice do you have in
I've got 2 dots into a tune.
Brilliant. Do you want to push yourself to get an extra d6, or
Yeah,
are you
of course.
leaving that for now? Brilliant.
Why wouldn't I?
So take 2 stress.
Oh, lovely.
And that's good. You get a 6. So describe what it looks like, please.
What my summoning up?
Yeah. What does Barkin look like? What does he act like when he's using this sense to find out what's going on?
Well, he looks pretty much the same as he always does. There's no visible transformation, but he begins to twitch and starts sniffing around. And he'll probably drop to the floor and start sniffing the floor and the carpet and the floorboards. And there is a degree of noise as he as his where Jack Russell persona takes over.
Brilliant. However, you've moved away and Vixen is watching your back. And that is the best thing to do because you make a few sort of yelping and whatever noises. However, you're quiet. And in doing so, alert nobody else, especially in the dining room, to your presence. And yes, your attunement senses are tingling. And you get a really weird feeling from the second floor, well, the next floor up, from the back of the house.
Knew it, hey? Knew it.
So we go to Grimlyn. Grimlyn, you have made it up the stairs quietly as you hear the small, stifled yelps of Barkin trying to attune to something or sniffing out with his powers. However, you are aware, the information you'd be given, that at the back of the house, that's where the study is. This is a well decorated, wood panelled hallway. There is wood flooring, but with a large sort of thick carpet that runs down the middle of it. Doors are off every side, and at the end there is 2 doors at the end of this corridor. There's no one around at the moment.
The 2 doors at the end where the back of the house would be.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to move slowly down that corridor, listening out for any sounds that there is anybody in any of the other rooms as I go by. And if not, I will go to the end 2 rooms and just listen for a minute. And then I will pick one to try the door handle very gently.
Okay. Well, combine this all into one roll. So what skill would you like to use?
I'm still prowling.
Brilliant.
Because I'm trying to move quietly.
That's absolutely fine. Give me a prowl roll, please. Oh, wow. The dice are kind to you tonight, aren't they? It seems that the
Than last time.
Exactly, yes. So in Blades of the Dark, we do combine actions together. We don't, unlike other systems, we don't make you roll for lots of little actions all together. So all of this is combined into one as you stealthily move across this carpet. And this carpet is perfect for you as you're prowling. Your footsteps are silent. And at the doors, you hear actually the sounds of what sound like somebody moving around in a bedroom, sort of creaking, and you hear the sound of cupboards off one of the doors, but it doesn't sound like they're anywhere near the door. And you can hear them saying, well, I guess this one might do. I guess this one might do. Whether or not you wish to investigate that further, it's up to you. But it just sounds like someone's in one of the side rooms. But it doesn't sound like they're coming out anytime soon. So it's up to you whether you want to investigate that or you're happy to move on to the end and pick one of the doors.
I'm going to move on, but I'm mindful that as I move, I need to try to find somewhere that should it sound like I'm kind of keeping half an ear on where that door is, so that I can kind of dive somewhere. When I say dive somewhere, probably just open another door. Should kind of the need arise.
Brilliant. And you get down to the end of the corridor and you listen at the 2 doors. On one door, you can hear the sound of footsteps and the sound of the kitchens below. From the other door, you can hear the sound of nothing, which tells you that one is the staircase and the other is the study. And it's at this moment that the door you were worried about opens and you can choose either to go through the study door or onto the stairs. Which door do you want to go through?
I'm going to go on to the stairs.
Brilliant. So you get onto the stairs, no problems whatsoever with that prowl roll. And you see a lady who is dressed as a maid. You've not seen a maid yet. However, what you notice as she looks around is that just a silver chain just kind of disappears into her pinny. And she smooths it down and says, you hear her say to herself, well, is it? Got away with that one. And she heads, she looks in a mirror, adjusts her head thing, and then heads back down the main stairs towards the main room.
Can I see what her face?
Oh, you see her face clearly. Yeah, she's a youngish lady, probably early 20s, blonde hair. Definitely looks like she works here in her attitude and her demeanor. But yes, she just kind of put something in her pinny. And just as that happens, the next course is being served. So this is now the fish course. And Jellybean, at this point, Petra says to you, well, of course, I'm staying here tonight. I've got rooms upstairs.
Oh, well, that's fabulous. You won't need to worry about the wine.
No, it's quite often. Well, we always get a carriage anyway, but it is just so much nicer to know that you're being well looked after by your host. Isn't that right, Mrs. Boone? Oh, yes, I try and look after everyone that comes to my parlor. Everyone here is welcome. Everyone. We have all manners of society here. We have, the upper echelons, and we have
servants.
Well, this is servants, but I was actually referring to and Cobb, the reporter, says she's referring to me. I'm just a reporter, Mrs. Boone. A very good review, don't we, Mrs. Boone? So is there anything you want to get out of the fish course, Jellybean?
No, not especially, but will be I think maybe try and pocket some of the pepper.
Okay, brilliant. So give me a roll for this, please.
I'll use finesse if that's all right.
Yep. So do you have any dots in finesse?
Yep.
Brilliant.
So just in case I need to distract father later.
Yep.
It's thinking about rolling.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh dear. The moment you go and reach for the pepper, your father just puts his hand on your arm and goes, well, Jellica, I don't like pepper. I would rather you didn't touch the stuff yourself. We must get a carriage home later together. And if you make me sneeze anymore, well, I'm afraid you'll have to go to bed without, well, I say supper, but we're eating here. So you'll just have to go to bed without piano practice or something.
Oh, well, sorry, Father. I don't want to make you feel worse.
Oh, well, just don't touch it. So failed at this time. However, you have moved on to the fish course, and the fish course is finished. And then we'll be getting on in a moment to the meat course. So we go back to Barkin and Vixen, who have moved to the back staircase now. And you've just gotten onto this staircase. So what do you want to do? Below, you can hear the sound of the cook barking her orders at everybody. And above, it sounds blissfully quiet. But this is the staircase that runs at the back of the house.
Vixen?
Mm-hmm. Shame we weren't in the kitchen. Could have got a few scraps fall off the joint.
It's okay. Don't worry. She'll put some aside for me. I have little doubt of that. But we have a job to do, and then we will feast later.
What exactly did your attunement tell us about this bottle?
Well, there's got me nether regions right tingling, it did. It's about as much as I can tell you at the moment, but I don't like it when It has its benefits. I don't know whether it's something that might be interested in possessing me, but you might get lucky. But we better back up Grimlyn, because well, we don't want a medal, positive or negative, depending on how he got it. And he's called Eye Gouger. Now, I mean, that don't sound right nice to me.
So up the stairs.
Yeah.
And
Cool. So the two of you head straight up the stairs, and you run in, not run, but you come into the back of Grimlyn, who's currently at the stairs peeking out, and you all join up together. And you may share knowledge should you wish to.
Absolutely. Grimlyn, I'm tingling again.
Well, I'm not surprised. Somebody else is on a job here. Not the only ones.
Another crew, or just regular interference?
I've only seen one of them, but they're definitely up to no good. And Grimlyn will kind of point to the room down there. You think she's got away with it, but
Well, that's
wow.
good, isn't it? If there's another person or crew doing stuff, then we can, reduce the heat on us and put it on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do I look like a thief?
I don't think they were stealing things.
All right. Okay.
They had some silver wire. I don't think they used that for stealing things.
What did it look like? Was it like a chain? Was it like a necklace?
It was like a chain.
Okay, I was thinking something else.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. No, it was like a silver chain.
Can I just ask, because I wasn't there, when Grimlyn saw this happen, would it have looked like, 'cause you mentioned it was looked like a regular servant,
Yeah.
so more of an inside job, either just helping themselves to some jewelry or potentially doing something else?
Ooh. Do you have a skill you would like to try and use to determine this? Because it would be, you're trying to basically, based on the description, figure out whether or not it might be an inside job.
No, I'm just kind of trying to figure out how Grimlyn would have
right.
viewed it.
You think it probably, this is an inside job. This lady, the way she's dressed, the way she looks, the way kind of the smartness of her, and with the competence which she moved around the house, indicated that she works here. She also very brazenly went up and down the main stairs, which denotes a certain level of status in houses such as this.
Okay. I'm not sure whether we've got anything to worry about another crew, but I mean, it was well spotted and certainly someone we can finger for the job that we're about to do. Lovely. You recognise her again, Grimlyn?
Yeah, of course. Got a good look at her.
Good. Well, maybe we should take a few other items and make sure that they're kind of on her as well. I mean, if she's going to get done for the theft of this medal, then she might as well get done for the theft of a lot of other things that they find on her.
Good if we could
Sorry.
put something on her that is from the study.
Yeah, like it.
That'll put her in the study, not just in one of the other rooms.
But yeah, I've got right tingling in my nethers at the moment, so there's something not quite right.
Did you take Stasia's cream for that? I just
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been applying that as well.
Good. Okay. So, anyway, should we try and get in this room? I mean, I'd just like to see what's going off. See if we could, if we could nick it out from under them before they even finish dinner, that would be immense. I mean, them
Well,
gone and everyone, lots of new servants that nobody's seen, planting some evidence elsewhere.
yeah.
We just take a little look. Nothing ever went wrong with that, right?
Brilliant.
Who lead the way?
So,
I lo-
Grimlyn. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
So Grimlyn, you head out of the three of you head out of the stairway and into the main room, into the study, where you see this study which has a set of curtains drawn across well, it's going to be a fake window because there's no windows at the back of the house, but there is, after all, a set of curtains here. They're plush and velvet. There is a large desk with writing equipment, which doesn't get used very much. There are lots of trinkets and oddities around. It does look very much like this is Eye Gouger's study, but it's not used. There are trophies on the wall. There are display cabinets with things in. And then there is a very large metal safe just kind of to the right of the desk as you're looking at it. And this metal safe has a very interesting facet. And that facet is it has 2 keyholes. It is a dual locked safe.
Right.
There are also cupboards and things in this room as well. Looks like a large kind of wardrobe, which smells faintly of mothballs. So, what would you like to do?
You're the expert, Grimlyn. I hope you're the expert, because I'm certainly not.
Well, so question. In my flashback, knowing that we were going to try and crack a safe potentially,
Yep.
Grimlyn would have done some research to try and look at the common kind of makes of safes, try to look some specifications to see where their weak spots are.
And you get a flashback to find that information out. So, could you give me a roll for it, please? What skill, what action would you like to use?
It's a bit shady, isn't it? So I wonder if I would have to go to like some kind of locksmith and use some kind of sway to try and get some blueprints and stuff, or something like that.
Brilliant.
That might
Yep.
be not very good at sway, but we can give it a go.
Oh, that's fine. Again, you can always push yourself, take 2 stress.
Yeah, let's take 2 stress because this is quite important.
Yeah.
So that adds a d6, does it? Is that right?
It adds a d6. Yep. 1 d6
Okay.
on there. So let's see what you get. Ooh, a 5 and a 3. So, yes, with a 5, that's a success with a complication. It is a risky thing to do. Yeah, you take 1 stress from the flashback, but you go talk to a locksmith, and the locksmith lets you know that this is a Ribbons brand safe. You're in good hands with Ribbons. They are well manufactured, but they are tricky. And they are tricky because they have a lot of complex mechanisms. But some would say these mechanisms are too complex. And, well, if you have a very large hammer and you have a very large, not chisel, but spike, and you just bonk, bonk on the hinges, but you've got to hit it hard and it's going to be loud, you can just knock the hinges out.
Okay.
And then you can just wiggle the door free.
Okay, so Grimlyn will relay this to Vixen and Barkin that we can get the door off, but it's going to make some noise. question is how well the noise travels around this house at the minute.
Could perhaps one of us head down and make a big crash in the kitchen?
Well, I mean, yes, but I'm not sure that would be. The problem is this house has like 3 levels, including the attic, and noise just in the kitchen. Well, it's noisy down there anyway. It's more the living room, the dining room where they're eating. This wasn't the plan. I mean, that's the problem. Now, if we try and take it by force, we're going to have to move very fast, and if we're not successful, that's it. We don't get it. We fail. I don't like those chances. It could alert staff upstairs. It could alert the dining room, and there's something not quite right. Once we get in there, we don't know whether we can just take it. We don't know whether it's a good geist, as in it could be tracked, or whether it's a warning geist, a protective geist, or whether it's stopping some kind of bad influence. There's too many variables, but it's up to you. That's my thoughts on it.
How will we know what it is?
Wow. Is my senses getting any stronger now I'm upstairs?
Oh yeah. So with your previous 6, riding on that 6, you know that it's in the safe. You know that it's in there. That's where the ghost is. You can tell the spirit, and again with the 6, you can tell it feels. It feels like the echo of somebody who died in horrible circumstances. In fact, very horrible circumstances. And talking about horrible circumstances, we will just cut away there for one moment to go straight back downstairs to Jellybean.
Perfect.
As the meat course is being served. So what's your ambition through the meat course? How are you going to further the aims of yourself or the gang?
I guess I can't see any of the gang around because they've all gone upstairs.
Could powder your nose.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. I will sort of excuse myself to find the bathrooms.
Okay.
I'll try and look for the drawing room.
It's easy to see. It's just straight across from where the dining room is. The doors are wide open, and you see the chairs. You see a small piano there, baby grand sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, harpsichord, I should say, and yeah.
Okay.
Cases.
And yeah, can I get to sort of? I guess I don't know which way they're going to go, but if I can we know about these stairs. If I can sort of look around a bit.
I think you had the intel that the study was upstairs.
Yes.
Of the flash.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're trying to figure out the route that they'll take to get up there and get back down again. Brilliant.
And if I see them, I'd pass on sort of the information about playing the piano and that the drawing room's just there. But if I don't see them, obviously I can't. So.
No, they're currently all upstairs in the study. So unless someone comes down, whilst you're looking around, but can you give me a roll, please? What your skills do you want to use?
Prowl.
Give me a prowl, please.
I've only got 1, but I'll push myself, I guess.
Okay, so take 2 stress. Okay. So yeah, as you come around and with a 4, that's a success, and you're looking around. and you are looking at the drawing room. You're looking at the stairs. Actually, you probably would. Would you go up the stairs to see if you can find?
If no one's around, then I'll sort of go.
Yeah.
You know,
At the moment, no one's around. And yeah, you do get to see kind of the study, and you can have a brief moment with your friends. You can see the route now. They'll just go up the stairs, straight down this long corridor to the back of the house, to the study, come straight back down the stairs, and then back into the drawing room. It's a really straightforward, simple route, but they will go past a number of other doors on the way. So you meet up with the party very briefly.
Yep. So chance to oh my, well, I mean the food is actually quite nice, but the drawing room is just down there, and a lady suggested that I play the piano afterwards, and that could be quite a good distraction, I think. They're going to bring the medal out after dinner, and then I think that's when they would like some playing. So perhaps yes, that might be distracting if someone wants to try and grab from that butler. I think the lady's quite, so she wouldn't notice if it was her carrying it, but he's probably a bit more aware.
Has there been any conversations down there? Sometimes these nobles, there are cults about.
Oh yeah. No one's mentioned a cult though here.
Have they tried to recruit you?
Sadly not.
Right.
But the colonel likes to talk about the war. The town clerk Petra likes to talk about how she's quite connected. And there's a journalist, and I guess he's going to write about the party, but there's not been any more interesting level of gossip really than that.
Right. Well, we've all worked very hard together to come up with the conclusion that this medal is haunted.
Oh,
yeah. Oh,
what kind of haunt?
best kind of ghost. I'm going to try and get possessed by it.
That, I suppose, could also be a distraction, but
it's not very happy. In fact, it's very unhappy.
Perhaps that's the reason for the bell jar covering. You could try and uncover it and then.
Are you a whisperer as well? Is that your talent?
Oh no, I don't speak with the ghosts,
but you're well tutored, yeah.
Well, yes, I'm aware of such things, as much as they're willing to share with me anyway. They think it's a bit of a nasty topic for young ladies, which is, well, not really true.
So, we might have to take it with a bell jar. We don't want it breaking at the very least.
Unless you want it to, but
well, it's tempting. It's tempting.
Yes. Well, I'll have to put back down for the next course, but
can you smuggle me some up?
Possibly.
You
seem to have some beef hanging out of your pocket anyway.
That's not beef.
Right, well. So, Jellybean, you slip back out of the study. Now, because you got a complication there, the maid that was seen before, she's coming back out of another room, and sorry, miss, are you lost?
Oh, I was just going to the bathroom.
Miss, that's the study. Don't worry, guests do this all the time. Let's get you back downstairs with all the other guests.
Okay.
And she very firmly kind of stands behind you and marches you down the stairs, and discreetly opens the door and then curtsies to you. But she just looks at you for a few moments longer than is comfortable as you go back into the main room. You realize, however, you've missed the rest of the meat course, and now the sweet dessert course has been served and most of it's been eaten. You notice the colonel has been digging his fork into your plate, and he's like, oh, damn good stuff, this damn good stuff.
Give him a look.
Sorry, gal, I didn't think you were coming back. Or you'd fallen in.
Powdering my nose, I'm afraid, doesn't leave me any less hungry for dessert, Colonel.
Sorry, what? I've got a bad ear. Can't hear anything. He goes back to shoveling the dessert into his face, and more of it's going down him than in him.
Just, yeah. Look at him and just swap plates.
Okay, I will ask you to give me a roll for this.
Okay.
What do you think you'd like to do?
I mean, I could say finesse, but it's a bit more of an intimidate, really.
You want to do it with an intimidate? No, that's absolutely fine. Describe how you roll it, and describe how describe how you sort these plates, and then we'll roll it, or how you want to try it.
So she's still looking really like cute and sweet, but she's looking at him in the face, and then like.
Okay, give me a roll, please. Give me a roll.
So, I mean, I've got 2 dots in finesse or consort or sway, so any of those really is.
Pick the one you want to use.
Well, it's. I mean, I guess say sway.
Okay.
Influencing.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So roll. Okay. So you succeed with a 4. And you look him dead in the eyes as you pick these 2 plates up and just swap them around. And I like to think you probably eat it whilst you are looking him dead in the eye as well, with the fork going in and then.
Yeah, but smiling.
Yeah. Again, it's going to make him remember you. And I'm going to add another heat onto the party for that. Yes, you stare him dead in the eyes and smile sweetly as you just brazenly swap the cakes and eat his cake, which of course there is much more of his than there is of yours. Brilliant, wonderful. But then we go straight back upstairs to everybody else. You have 2 segments of clock left until people are going to come upstairs and get the safe open. So is there any other preparations you want to make?
I think I'd like to prepare a hiding position.
Brilliant. Well, there is a large cupboard that would fit all 3 of you, if that's where you wish to hide, or you can hide somewhere else. There's under a desk, but if you are going to hide, if you're going to do it as a group, you could do it as a group action with you leading it, or you can all hide individually or do your own thing. What do you think you'd like to do?
What is the purpose of this? Are we letting them open this and then we're going to? Are we waiting for them to come back? Is what I'm doing. Is that when we're going to do this, or because if we're waiting for them to come back, we might as well just not be here rather than hiding, and then when they go, we'll come back and hide.
I was wondering if we could see exactly who had the keys, maybe kind of slip something that when the door opens it might not lock properly, or...
I like
That'd be
it.
how it works.
This is sharp thinking, Vixen. Sharp thinking. Okay, so you hide. I'll go down to the kitchen and help the cook out. You see, when because we know this, we've been told, haven't we? So we've got the sort of cheese and biscuity course, and then there'll be some. Once all that's done, Jelly Tot said that's when they come and get the medal and take it. So as soon as we know all of that has been done, I know to come back up the stairs again.
Brilliant.
There's not a lot I can do until we get this. I might try and get in the room and have a look at this, have a look at it when they're showing everybody else to me, I just don't want to bide in a cupboard with both of you because I think it's just inappropriate.
Wonderful. So, Vixen's going to hide in the cupboard. Barkin's going back downstairs. Grimlyn, what are you doing? Are you hiding in the cupboard as well?
I am, yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
maybe prep a few things while I'm in there because I know until I hear kind of sounds of anyone coming upstairs. But yeah,
So you're gonna? So did you say you're gonna do what to a few things? Sorry.
prep a few things. So one of the first things that I thought I would bring with me
Yeah.
was some sneezing powder. I want basically a way to try to distract them if we have to take it physically off them.
Brilliant.
So I want to make sure I've got some of that ready and in hand.
Cool. So yeah, whatever you want it to be. Obviously, at the moment you need to use it. That's when we tick off a box of load. But you've got that. Whatever it is, you've got it ready. So I'll let it be something appropriate for the situation. So Vixen, I'll let you do the role here. So what do you want to do? So this is going to cover both you hiding and you affecting the safe in some way. So what do you want to do?
Let's have a quick look. Wonder if hunt might be appropriate with sort of the arranging an ambush or hiding in wait.
Okay. Yeah, I like the sound of it. So what? Describe to me how you're gonna do this.
Okay. So I'm going to be going to cupboard. I'm going to be rearranging the clothes a little, maybe to prop open the door a little bit more than it would naturally, but still looking out, keeping a good line of sight to the safe. Maybe placing something small on top of the safe to just see if it would sort of fall in the door, how tightly it's going to be wedged for that sort of thing.
Okay. No, yeah, that's really, really good. Give me a hunt roll then, please.
Okay. I think this one might have to push myself for it.
Yep. So then take 2 stress. I mean, or Grimlyn can help you for 1 stress.
Yeah, I don't mind helping, particularly with the part with the safe because that's more her forte. So
Brilliant.
she can always give it a little bit of a kind of, chisel at the corner to make it just that little bit vulnerable.
Yeah. I love it. Cool. Okay, that's good. So maximum you got there was a 4. So what that means is you succeeded with a complication. So yes, you expertly set everything up. The complication, however, is that once you set all this stuff, you set the cupboard up perfectly, but when you get to the safe and you leave something on it, someone's going to find that 1, the safe has been a little bit chiseled, and 2, there's been this mechanism, the safe won't have been closed properly. They're going to find these things later after the score, which means you'll take another heat. But everything's fine right now. That's for the future. So the 2 of you sit in wait. So Barkin, you go back downstairs. The cook has kept some food aside for you. And she's gone a bit quieter now, as a lot of the sort of they're on to the cheese course, and she's sitting back with a large mug of beer, and she gives you some small jobs to do. But is there anything you'd like to do, Barkin, whilst you're down there?
I'll roll up my sleeves and start helping with the washing up as I'm talking to her. But yeah, there is. I want to enter a conversation with her. Sorry, I didn't quite get your name, cook.
My name's Sybil.
Sybil. Oh, it's beautiful, that is. It sounds exotic. I don't want to be speaking out of place,
No. Well,
but I do these jobs. I've been in a lot of houses, and I mean, firstly, your cooking is by far the best.
no, you're too kind.
No,
You're
no,
too
no,
kind.
no. It's the truth. But occasionally, and I feel like I'm putting my head on the chopping block here. But I feel I can trust you a little bit. But I'm in a bit of an awkward situation.
She pulls up a chair and sort of pats it for you to sit down.
Well, I mean, I think one of the household staff is on the take.
She looks at you shrewdly and goes,
Now, this is why I feel, because I'm a stranger to this house, and I don't know whether it's a done thing here or not. Now, I mean, you're the matriarch of this. I don't want to be stepping out of place. If it's the thing that's done, that's fine. If it isn't, then I'm looking for some advice. Oh, this is delicious. My, what? I'm in heaven. I've died.
I saved you the bit that doesn't have all the salt on, the rubbish I have to put on that goes up there. You know what, my little lambkin? You tell old Auntie Sybil who it is or who you've seen. Just describe them to me, and nothing will go any further than this. No one will know you've said it, but let Auntie Sybil deal with it, because we respect who we work for around here, and without respect, you're nobody. You've got respect, and well, people don't respect, then well, old Captain Boone, he likes respect.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want you to get in trouble. Could you do me a
I won't
favour
get in
though?
trouble.
Can you?
Oh yes.
I mean, because I don't want to be brought up in front of the household and all the knobs and being pointed out and
No.
questioned and all that. So just keep an eye out after we've all gone, and and I mean, do your own investigations if you.
Oh, I will. And will you provide a description of
Well, I
the
don't.
person to it?
I mean, has Grimlyn? Did you give us any kind of description? I mean, sorry,
you're muted, Grimlyn.
You're on mute.
Yes, I would have described them to everyone.
I think you got a name as well, as she whispered to herself. Would you have
Yes,
passed
Lizette.
that on?
Yes.
So I'm up front.
Yeah.
But if you want me to make a roll, because obviously I'm doing this, so she's going to do it after the event rather than stir things up now.
Give me a roll, please. Use whatever skill you think is best. I'll give you a roll and tell me what I'm rolling.
It's going to have to be consort.
Okay.
Because that's best. I've got 1 dot, but I'll take 2 more stress if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine. 2 dots. Oh dear, I rolled a 2 and a 3. She just pats you on the leg and says, "Don't worry, Lambkin. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. You get back to doing the washing up and let old Sybil take care of it, Lambkin."
I knew I could trust in you.
So, yes, you were trying to get her to do this afterwards, and at this point, she stands up and leaves. And you hear a creaking on the stairs as she goes upstairs.
Okay.
So you're downstairs. 2 of you are kind of hidden away. Jellybean, you are the cheese course is over. We're now in the tea and biscuits course. So is there anything else you'd like to do with the dinner party?
I'm kind of just waiting really for the medal to come out.
Okay.
The servant that she relies on, does he stay around her?
Yes, he's in the corner of the room pretty much at all times, standing throughout the meal. Occasionally, she sort of does a motion with her hands, and popping over is this man Featherstone's like, "Yes, madam. Oh, please, I'll have another glass of my special reserve." And he'll kind of go over and take a glass to a small sideboard and pour out a special decanter of port just for her and bring it back. And she's then, "Oh, this is absolutely delightful. What a pleasant young girl she is." She keeps on commenting on what a pleasant young girl you are.
Which I
am. But if there's nothing else you want to do,
no, directly. I mean, I think it's going to be just keeping an eye out until things start kicking off, really.
Cool. So the courses finish, and everyone is bidden to go into the drawing room. And on the stairs, you can hear. Well, it takes a little while, but Mrs. Boone and Featherstone go up the stairs and eventually wander over to the study. When they get in the study, the two of them, Mrs. Boone kind of reaches under her shirt and produces the key, and Featherstone just reaches into a pocket and gets the key out, and they both put them in the lock. They turn the lock at the same time when Mrs. Boone goes 3, 2, 1, turn, and they both turn the key, and the door pops open. She says, "Featherstone, get the medal. Oh, it's such a thing of beauty." And Featherstone goes, "Yes, madam." And he reaches in and pulls out this bell jar, which on a small display case is this medal on a bright red ribbon, a blood red ribbon. And Featherstone and Mrs. Boone, Featherstone carries this thing out, and the safe starts to close, and you just hear a little tink as a thing falls in, and the safe just kind of closes, but not properly. And they take it downstairs. Barkin, you've sort of come up to have a look at it.
Yeah, so obviously stop washing up, right myself, and then I'll head upstairs to see if I can either just get a sight of it or even get into the room and hang around as a member of staff, basically.
Okay, give me. So I'm. Actually, I'll say you probably don't need to roll me for this one because there's still servants around.
Yeah.
And servants are generally unseen. And there's nothing suspicious about
tidying or whatever.
Yeah. And there are a few other servants doing the same thing here. So you see this thing come downstairs, and it's flashing your spidey senses everywhere as you get the idea that this medal. Oh, there's something inside this medal. It's just alerting you immediately. And the butler is reverently carrying it down the stairs while still also having Mrs. Boone on his arm, taking it one step at a time. And they carry it into the drawing room where it is placed, and Mrs. Boone says, the young girl, Jellica, could you please play something lovely on the harmonica over there? As you everyone's kind of looking at you expectantly as you're just smiling sweetly at them.
Yes, of course. Shall we?
And again, you do you want to play nicely? What do you want to play? You have an array of things. I'll give you agency here to say what you're going to do.
Yeah. No, keep up. keep up the role. So something quite classical, I guess, to start with. But not too quiet, you know, something that's going to have some dynamics to sort of hint to the rest of them that this is kind of a time that's happening now.
Okay. Yeah.
And then maybe switch to some kind of more jazz or something.
Okay. Give me a roll then. What do you want to use to try and do this signaling?
For this, well, finesse maybe to have control over the dynamics I'm playing.
Yep, I like the sound of that. Give me a finesse roll then, please, Jellybean.
Okay.
Oh, brilliant. So you got the 6. So
I did get 6 on the one, yeah.
Jellybean starts playing this melody and it's loud. It carries through the house. Everybody hears it. Everyone is aware that this is going on. And as she has indicated, this means that it's currently in the drawing room. So Mrs. Boone gives some long-winded speech about the artifact and about the medal and what's going on and all that nonsense. Everyone else is kind of just deep into their drinks, trying to ignore it as she's talking just at length at a room that is not listening. And then my husband, he cracked 14 skulls with one fist and one big stick. And I thought, well, these poor people, they had it coming. So he got given this medal. He managed to keep the poor where they belong, at the proper place on the ladder. And these words kind of waft up the stairs and through a door and straight into the ears of Grimlyn. And so you're aware that this lady's not, her husband. You're aware her husband's not very nice. And this medal is she the way she's talking about it, you can all hear her waffle on and on with the sound of this light jazz piano about how amazing it was that her husband was a thoroughly unpleasant person and killed quite a lot of people in kind of a riot. And then she says, because she says, she doesn't need, it's very clear when the safe closes, it should automatically lock again, but it doesn't, because you've finessed it, so it doesn't. So whilst that's going on, Vixen and Grimlyn, is there anything you'd like to do whilst in the study?
You do anything to the safe, Grimlyn, to make it not closed? Well, having it open now is useful. If we can keep it open when they put it back, we'll have a lot more time to figure out what this spirit is.
Grimlyn would like to actually go and look in the safe and see if there's anything else in the safe.
Oh, there are some very choice documents and files, all branded secret. They're the sorts of evidence that, if presented to the right people, would be very good leverage against one Captain Gregory Eyegouger Boone.
In which case, if they're in like little folders or whatever, Grimlyn will take the papers out and leave the folders in the safe. So that it still looks like there's stuff in there if they happen to, obviously, if they're going to come back upstairs. Should they get to the point of opening the safe. And then she is going to use the presumably waistcoat of her servant's uniform to secrete all of the documents, because that feels even worse, that they're using the power of the servants to bring down this person, which is just justice. That's what Grimlyn's doing with her time.
Lovely. So are you going to, is either one of you going to try and do anything to the safe to make sure that it stays unlocked when it closes?
If I can If I can tinker with the locking mechanism
Yep.
while it's open, then yes, I will do that.
Brilliant. Give me a tinker roll then, please.
I'd like to help with that.
Brilliant. Take 1 stress, please, Vixen.
Do I get to roll an extra dice? Is that
You
right?
do. You get an extra d6 on this one, yes.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
It's not rolling it. I'm rolling it.
Oh my word. 2 6s. That is a critical success. That is amazing. So this goes better than you expect. In fact, this goes in such a way that not only can you make sure it doesn't lock when the door closes again, but you have an easy way to release it such that I'm actually going to remove one of your heat from earlier, because you've done such a good job with the tinker that actually you've managed to take out some of the evidence that they would have found later, and yeah, it'll look like no one's ever touched this safe. Wow, well done. That's fantastic. So you're aware that very shortly, very, very shortly, this is going to come back upstairs with Featherstone. So what do the two of you want to do?
Don't we drop
So-
outside or hide again? Ooh.
I don't think we need to be here because we've rigged the safe that we can come back and just get it when they're out of the way. They'll never see us. We just need to not be kind of found.
Go back down the stairs for now then.
Brilliant. So where are you going to go? Back to the kitchens?
Do we think it's plausible to go back to the kitchen with most of the staff being dismissed around the cheese selection, or would we be better off hanging around the bottom of the staircase?
Possibly the bottom of the staircase in the first instance. See if there are staff hanging around to be on hand.
Maybe having a smoke out there.
And if
Cool.
not, we can kind of immediately detour back to the kitchen if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
That's probably.
So you're going
Hopefully
to
we
be at
can
the bottom
let
of the
them
staff stairs, aren't you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. Wonderful. So you head down to the bottom of the staff stairs. Barkin, is there anything you want to do, or are you just going to stay around the area you are at the moment, waiting for him to go back upstairs with the thing?
Well, if there's nothing I can do here, so I'm going to retire back now, back down to sort of the kitchen area as
Brilliant.
well. I think there's no point me hanging here now that I've kind of sensed it. I've got some ideas. Do I know whether it's possible to commune, to speak with the ghost if given time and an appropriate place to do it?
Yeah, yes, with appropriate time and the place, yeah, you'd be able to commune with the ghost.
Yeah.
Generally,
Yes,
it's an
okay.
attunement roll.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I'll go back to the kitchen.
wonderful. So you head back to the kitchen. The other two are down at the bottom of the stairs, not far from the kitchens. So if you want to meet up, you can.
If I'm aware of them, I will
Yeah,
meet up.
yeah.
I will
Cool.
tell them what I have sensed.
Wonderful. So so the thing goes back upstairs and it gets closed in the safe, or so Featherstone thinks.
Did I get to see it?
Yes,
or
you got to see it. Yeah, you got to see it, and as it sort of it was there. This horrible medal that looks like it's made of cheap pewter, but with this blood red ribbon. And I
Okay.
said,
Could I flashback
yep.
and say that I'd have got a description from my
Of the medal.
we could have had, like a replica made, if everyone thinks that would be useful.
I'm not opposed to it at all.
Brilliant.
I mean, doesn't mean you have to use it, but something as a
Yeah.
that we could have sorted out.
Oh, you would have to. I would have said if you were saying that it would have to be in its own bell jar, because we can't take it out
We don't
of the
want
bell
to take
jar.
it off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then found a way to sneak it in a bag or something.
Okay. So how are you going to do this? You need to use one of your skills to do this.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 2 stress flashback
Okay.
because you have to get it in as well.
Yeah. Well, I could take it as a load, I guess.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could take it as like a present or whatever. Yes.
Yeah. Well, if I just bring a bag.
Okay. Yeah. So take off one of your boxes of load.
Yeah, I could always put a present in it as well as a.
Yeah. No. Take off a box of load. It's fine. You can have it in a bag. And the bag will be in the cloakroom where everyone else knows where that is. So, yeah, give me a roll, please.
Okay.
Let's see if this works.
So,
you have to either get someone else to do it,
yeah,
or make it yourself.
Say, consort possibly.
Okay.
My friend, Brill is a drug dealer, and he might know someone.
Yep. Cool. You're connected. So give me a consort roll then, please. But as I said, this is a 2 stress fast track. That's fine.
Yeah.
Again, this is going to add to your heat. That's your complication because asking for a very specific thing like this, word gets around.
Yeah.
But it succeeds. You have this replica made, and it's beautiful. How many stress are you on now, Jellybean? Brilliant. So yeah, you have this replica made. It looks really good. Your mum described it really well to you, and yeah, you've got it in the cloakroom, which is actually coincidentally where everyone else is currently hiding. The cloakroom is downstairs. That is where everyone keeps things. So you are there with this satchel that Jellybean has provided, with this replica that you are all aware is there. The real one's taken back upstairs. At this moment, you hear a scream. I got her! I got her! Ah, I got her! That little hussy! And running down the main staircase is the cook. And you see this, Jellybean, but you all hear this. She's dragging Lizette, and she throws her into the room and says, I caught a little sneak thief. She was going through people's rooms, weren't you, Lizette? And it looks like from her room, she's been doing this for some time, haven't you? Go on, tell Mrs. Boone what you've been doing. I caught a sneak thief. Yes, you all hear this happen. This is your catastrophic failure from earlier. However, it sounds like it might work to your benefit. So, everyone downstairs, you're aware of this happening, this commotion now. The drawing room has gone into an absolute fracas. Well, chop her head off. So, the three of you, what do you want to do?
I think this is the sign to do the switch and get out of here.
Wonderful.
Do it.
Well, by us, I'll be outside having a smoke, making sure that the route is clear.
Brilliant. Well, at the sound of this, is there anything you want to do, Jellybean, whilst this phrase going? Is there anything you want to? I mean, do you want to keep playing? What do you want to do?
No, I won't keep playing. Does it look like everyone's engaged in this, basically?
It looks like everyone's engaged in this. There are a few curious staff, though, peering their heads around the drawing room door.
Yeah. Well, that's probably good. It keeps them bothered as well. They've gone to take the thing upstairs.
Featherstone's already come back down, and he's just like, "Oh my goodness, what's going on here?"
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I kind of don't want to interrupt this, really.
Okay.
Everyone
that's
seems
fine.
to be doing their thing. At best, just I guess encourage it, if anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh my, I just can't get the staff these days, you know. So sad. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Boone.
Okay, no, that's fine. So yeah, she's starting to as the cookie's laying everything out, she's starting to wail, and you can encourage things on a little bit. And the staff are actually now all arranged around the room. So we go to Vixen and Grimlyn. The route is clear. What are you going to do?
Gonna pick up the decoy,
Mm-hmm.
then get upstairs as clean quietly as can, assuming Vixen's coming with.
Yep.
Substitute out of the safe the real one, fake one. The role I did earlier to kind of tinker with the safe, am I able to lock it back so that they don't know?
Yes.
Winning at life.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
With a critical success, yes, this thing will look like no one has ever touched it.
So swap them over, lock it back up again. Real thing in the bag, down the stairs, ready to leg it. Although I may leave a gift for the man on the way out.
Okay. What's the gift? What are you leaving? Is it dynamite?
But not the house. Like probably one of if there's a nearby structural support, you described these really fancy structural supports. I want to try and weaken that to the point where it might start to kind of collapse things. But not before we get out, because I don't actually want to kill any of the crew unnecessarily.
Give me a roll, please. What do you think would be appropriate for this?
It's not really, well, it is wrecking, but it isn't wrecking because it's about you're not per se kind of smashing stuff up.
It can still be wreck though. Could still be wreck.
Oh, I'm all for wreck. I haven't rolled a wreck today.
Give me a wreck roll. Give me a wreck roll.
Oh, this is where it all goes horribly wrong and I explode everyone. Yes.
It'll be fine. Critical success again. Tell me exactly what you want to do. You want to weaken one of these supports, but is there any sort of final flare you want it to happen? When do you want it to crumble?
Basically, I want to make sure that we all get out of there. I'm not too bothered about the other people who are in the house, only Jellica. And basically, so probably later on in the night when there's nobody really obviously around, just make it start to crumble. They'll all be in their beds, so they'll die in their beds.
Yeah.
Which would be fitting justice.
Oh.
Well.
Well,
we'll see if they die in their beds.
Yeah.
Probably not actually want to kill them thinking about it, but just, cause them a lot of pain, cost them a lot of money because they've got to rebuild their houses, and generally be a real embarrassment that somebody's come into their midst and,
Good. I like it. So, I love it. So, Vixen, is there anything you want to do on the way out or anything you need to catch up with?
Is there anything nice and luxurious in the office that I might indulge in?
Give me a roll. See if you can find something you like.
See, I'm guessing maybe a survey or a study.
Yeah, one of those would work. Whichever one you want to use.
Okay. Give it a go. No.
Okay. Everything in here just looks like a trophy or some nonsense to you. There's nothing here that you can take something, but you're unaware of the value of any of it. It looks like personal value.
No, just looking for a nice luxury trinket, not a bauble.
Yeah, it's pretty distasteful. This thing, but you get the real one, and you go downstairs, and funnily enough, you have a satchel that's just the right size for this. You can pop it in the satchel, and in the hubbub, as I said, everyone's focusing currently on the main room, because Barkin wanted this to happen afterwards. However, the cook, he failed, so the cook is making it happen now, which should have unfortunately been a failure, as I said. But however, it seems to be working for you. Jellica, your father walks over to you, and goes, Jellica, we're leaving, Jellica, young lady. I'm not having you round these sorts of sneak thieves and cut purses. I don't want you getting involved with this terrible crime business. Oh, it's disgusting. It makes me sneeze, these sorts of people. Oh,
Father, I don't think that's necessary. Well, unless you want to go home and I can catch a carriage later. I'll use a sway roll.
Okay, yeah, roll me sway.
Either outcome is fine. Either he chooses to stay or to let me stay on my own. And I will push myself.
Okay. Yeah. He says, you can stay, but I'm telling your mother about this. And that's your complication. Your mother will be annoyed with you. But the three of you, sort of Jellybean, you are still in the study as this is unfurling itself, and all the items are being presented by the cook, and the lady of the house has passed out, and you hear a suspicious kind of banging noise coming from outside. You're not sure what's happened. You do get the feeling that maybe you want to get out of here before the night is over, as there is a slight creaking noise. But Barkin, Vixen, and Grimlyn, you find yourselves outside, with Barkin smoking, Barkin, Larkin, out the back of the kitchens with the prize. What are you going to do?
Let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing back through the servants' tunnels.
Yeah.
Do we need to let Jellybean know that we're all good?
She'd be fine. She's a guest.
Yeah, well, because Jellybean's been allowed to stay and doesn't have her father watching it, she'll obviously be keeping an eye out to make sure that either they're not in the vicinity anymore or that nothing's happening that looks like it's involving them.
Yeah. Cool.
And we'll assume that then it's fine.
Yeah. So you see out the corner of the window, because there are other people. There are still servants around outside. People have left, and there are some milling around. There's still people packing up a cart with these other bits from before, because it looks like a lot of things were brought in for this dinner party. And the three of you can head back with the prize back to Auntie Helen's. And Jellybean, at an appropriate moment, you can slip out and do the same should you wish to.
Yep. Make sure I've got in as much with everybody, basically, before I go.
Wonderful. So, sorry, is there anything else you wanted to do?
No, I'm just trying to think if there's anything useful while I'm here. Maybe see if I can get any gossip about my father.
Well, you find out from you just overhear. I'm not going to make you roll for this. You hear from Mrs. Loveday Boone that she thinks your father is a contemptuous oik, who doesn't have a backbone, and should probably go back to the lower rungs of society where he came from. He married up. However, all of you leave eventually, and you make it back to the safe house. And Sark looks absolutely pleased when you present him with the when you show him the thing, and he says, "Right, leave it here. We'll all get some kip, and then tomorrow I'll send Arkwright out to get it fenced. All right?"
Do you want the spirit? Is that what you want as well?
I don't care about the spirit, but what I recommend we all do now is we all go to bed. It's late. I mean, if you want the spirit, you can have the spirit, mate, but I would recommend we all go to bed. It's up to
Right.
you. What do you want to do?
No, I mean, as long as you know this thing is haunted and possibly dangerous.
Oh, blimey. Well, if you want the spirit out, I mean, the lamp blacks just want the symbol. They don't care about what's in it. So, yeah, tell you what, mate. Tomorrow, you get that spirit out of it, do what you want with it, put it in one of your whispery bottles, and then we'll sell it on. We'll get it fenced, all right?
Is there a fee for that?
Well, I'm not going to bloody pay it. We're all working together here.
Well, presumably if the lampblacks don't want the haunted medal, they would pay a fee to have it unhaunted.
Oh, I see what you mean. God, she's a smart one. God, I tell you why we brought her on board.
She's been tutored.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. No, we'll we'll sort everything out in the morning. But he pats the top. He's about to pat the top of the bell jar, then remembers what Larkin's just said and takes his hand away carefully and says, "No, we'll sort it out in the morning."
Right. Oh.
Grimlyn is just gonna kind of unbutton her waistcoat and start pulling out loads of sheets of paper and kind of slaps them down on the table and say, and what about this? And kind of points to all the documents on the table.
He looks at them and goes, "Well, bugger me. He did what? Gore. You'll be locked up for 12 years for that one. 17 for that one. I think they'll probably shake your hand for that one. But that one, oh, that's a lifer. You are good, Grimlyn. You are very good. Wow. This is beautiful. I mean, what a gang. What a gang. Tell you what, drinks all mine. I'll make mine a single. I'm going to be going to bed.
Don't be too quick to sell that, though. You know, you never know when you might want the leather.
Oh, no. We'll hold on to these. These are valuable. And so you all retire for, well, whatever counts as the night.
Yep.
But the next morning at around 5 or 6 a.m., there is a banging at your door.
Jellybean's obviously going to sleep at her own house.
Yeah. But you get a summons immediately to come.
Yeah.
To sort of, there's a tapping at your window and a small urchin. They go, Miss, Sark wants you. And by the time you're all roused and gathered in the drawing room again, he just says, "That little bollock." And you notice that the papers and the medal are all gone. Arkwright's gone and nicked them.
Who's that?
He was my friend right at the start.
The little skinny one that you would have easily missed because he was little and skinny and easily missed.
One of my informants gave me this, and he puts a note down and the note says, "Arkwright has betrayed you. He's going to sell the medal, keep the coin himself, and he's leaving Doskvol on the next train for White Hollow." And it's signed ABC. You all know White Hollow to be a city down the western coast of Arkaros, the country you're currently in, connected by rail. And he also presents this receipt. Sark presents a receipt to you for a travelling trunk. ABC is one of my informants. I trust him with my life. Well, I trust him as much as I trust anyone in this life. Looks like Arkwright is trying to skip town and get our coin. I ain't going to let him get away with this. No one betrays Sark, especially not in the house of Auntie Ellen. We've got to get the papers back. We've got to get the medal back. But first, though, I think I need another drink. Make mine a double. And so you are informed. So you've got Arkwright is currently trying to make his way to the station. So you are all currently in Crowsfoot. and the station is currently it's on the lower east side of the map, and there's a few routes you could take to get to the station. You either go through Charter Hall and then Night Market, or you go through Char Hollow and Coleridge. Char Hollow and Coleridge is the back streets. That's the bad area. Charter Hall and Night Market, those are the nicer areas. But how do you want to approach getting to Arkwright?
Can I just hire a carriage?
You certainly can. You can hire a cab to try and get ahead of him. But I'd like another engagement roll, please, with how you plan to get Arkwright. That's right. It's a 2-for-1.
Is it just to get to Arkwright or to grab him as well?
Whatever you want to do. Obviously, this is it's normally to get to the point of engagement. So,
what are our choices again?
So it's assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, and transport.
I mean, transport, I guess, sounds relevant. But
Yep, with transport, I need the route and means.
Well, I guess carriage, and I mean, we would be leaning in. I don't know about Vixen or Grimlyn, but to your status, I guess, once again. And if we're taking a carriage, then I guess the better area.
Yeah. We definitely don't want to go to the back streets and get robbed.
Okay.
We won't want to go that way. But
No.
yeah, I'll have money.
Yep.
Father gives me
So
money.
I'm just going to quickly check. So Jellybean, on this one, you have some time to prepare. So what load would you like to take?
Normal.
Okay, normal. Vixen?
Normal.
Normal. Grimlyn?
Yeah, normal.
And
I'll be
finally,
normal as well.
Larkin. Great. You've all got normal load, so that means 5 boxes of load that you can use. You've given me a transportation. This is the route and means. So you're going by goat taxi. So as I previously explained, there are no horses. There are these rather large goats that pull the carriages. They have a tendency to eat the cobbles though, but they're generally quite well behaved. So is this plan particularly bold or daring? I will say yes. Does it expose a vulnerability of the target hit the weakest? Not really. Can any friends or contacts provide you with any aid here?
Not mine.
Only if I've got like a concierge or something that can hook me up with a way of getting the carriage quickly.
Yes, you would do. You would have family connections. So yes, I'm happy to say that. And anything else you think you can do to help yourselves here?
Would Auntie Helen have had, like, last time she had lots of maps and things like that?
Yeah.
Maps of railway tracks. Basically, Grimlyn
Yeah.
is looking prospectively towards stopping the train one way or another, whether it's moving or not. So knowing which way the routes go, and
Brilliant.
you know, if we know where they're planning to go, it suggests that we could work out which tracks it would be.
Yes. You would know exactly what that is. So yes, I will add an extra D6 onto that one. So 4D6 for an engagement roll. Okay, you got a 5. So
If there's any, like, I don't know if then you can work out what train it might be and what platform. If there's any newspapers that list that. I mean, it's obviously not a website, but
no,
something that will tell you which to aim for.
There are published timetables. And so with your engagement roll, you arrive at the train station with a 5. You arrive at the train station ahead. You are absolutely certain you'll be ahead of Arkwright because he'll have been on foot and he probably would have been traveling in the shadows. So he will arrive on foot at some point at the station. The complication is you're not quite sure he is either going to be on one of 2 platforms. The platforms face each other, but there are the tracks in between. So he's either going to be on platform 5 or 6, because that's where the electric rail goes from.
Have
to
we got a
go.
description of him, or everyone else will recognise him?
Yeah, you recognise it. Yeah, you got the description from before. So he's a rather sort of short, wiry gentleman with wire glasses and a thin moustache.
Yeah.
So you arrive at the station and you don't know which platform is going to come in on because the train's not arrived yet.
Can I reach out with can sense this restless spirit contained in what I believe is the ribbon of the medal rather than the medal itself?
It
The
would
one
be,
that
yes.
is quite possibly soaked in his blood.
Well, I'd like you to give me a roll then, please.
Tune again.
Yeah. So how many dots is that?
It's 2 dots, but I have 4 stress at the moment.
Yeah.
If I want to stress myself out to 6, is that a dangerous thing to do, or is it doable?
It's doable.
I'll
It's
do
when
it
you get
then.
to 9 that's a problem. Yeah.
I will do it. So that gives me extra.
Oh. So you get a 1, a 3, and a 4. We take the highest, which is the 4. So you can, as he gets closer, you can detect this restless spirit. You are certain it's going to be on platform 5. However, Barkin, your inner Barkin comes out, and you are making loud barks and yaps.
Yeah.
Such that quite a few people are kind of looking, and all of you are seeing this as you're all together. All of you start seeing that Barkin sort of says, you can see he's actually currently entered the station and he's walking along the walkway above, ready to come to platform 5. But Barkin is making quite a large sort of noise. You can probably do it better than I can.
Yeah, and I will just charge towards in that direction as if a sniffer dog has lost control.
I love it. So Barkin's running off towards him, barking and yelping.
I think we follow him.
Yeah, but people are kind of pointing, going, "What's going on with that gentleman over there?" Yes, I'm not too sure. Stay away from him, Sebastian. He looks like the sort of gentleman who doesn't wash. And that sort of thing's going on, and like, what's he doing? God, look, that man looks clackers. As Barkin's just racing ahead. Wonderful. So, you are currently running to intercept him. What's the rest of you doing?
Running like less quickly because I'm only small.
Yeah, you're at the back.
What's our intent once we actually find him? If we're on a platform, it's not like we can risk much of a confrontation. Are we going to aim for pickpocketing, cajoling him away, assassination?
Can you? Well, you've worked with Barkin Larkin before, so this has happened a number of times that you would be aware of. He's going to mark him as his target, which means he's going to pee over him. So that's what you need to address in the room.
Yes. So all of you are kind of aware of this fact that this is what Barkin's going to do. And again, given it was a 4, that is the complication. So it's going to add heat onto all of you if he succeeds, if there's something you can, well, there's already heat added to you. But yes, what do the 3 of you want to do? Is there anything you can do or you want?
So is the train that he's going to go on, is that already in the station, or is
It's just
not
pulling
there?
up now. You can see it pulling up now. It's not stopped yet, but it's just sort of coming into the platform. It is an 8-carriage train with a rather large electro rail engine.
I'm gonna climb on a bench so I can see better.
Okay, yes. So Barkin, you've all kind of gone up onto the stairs because that's where he is at the moment. He's still kind of just making his way over, but there are benches on this walkway that's above, so you can kind of see over people's heads and you can see him. So that's what you're doing. Vixen, what you'd like to do?
Do we think if we threw something at Barkin, a stone or something that might knock him out of his current state.
You would know this about Barkin. So Barkin, what would that work? Do you think?
No, throwing a stone at him, maybe food. You know that he's partial some food. You might be able to distract him again. It's like dealing with a Jack Russell at the moment that's found his mark. He's a pack animal though, and you probably had to deal with this before. But it's up to you how you want to do it.
Well,
deal with him.
I will also say that in my games, PvP, as it might end up in this situation, always has to be consensual. So, Barkin, are you comfortable being stopped?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This
Brilliant.
this isn't. You would be aware of Barkin, and he's not deliberately looking to disrupt what is going on. In many
I just
ways,
want to make sure that you're comfortable. Yeah,
maybe-
with that happening.
maybe you have already got a flashback with a Barkin snack or something like that.
So yeah, Vixen, what do you want to do?
Yeah, my intent wasn't to actually hit him, or like guessing. Let's have a loadout of chicken drumsticks.
Tick off a box of load for chicken drumsticks. I never thought I would be saying that tonight. Yeah, so you don't have to. Yeah, so that's just something you currently have, a Barkin snack. So I'm going to ask you to give me a. I'm going to ask you to give me a roll. So what would you like to roll to throw it at Barkin?
Ranged attacks. I think that's hunt.
Yep, I'd be happy with hunt.
To go to try and throw it just in front of him to distract him.
Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, so with a 5, that's good. That's got a complication. Again, it's going to draw more attention to you from people around, and more people are looking as you throw this chicken drumstick at Barkin. Are you happy for that to work, Barkin?
Absolutely, it's a chicken
Wonderful.
drumstick. I mean,
Tell me what Barkin does.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, with the 5, it's not a 6, so I don't catch it or anything. It kind of falls down onto the dirty floor and kind of maybe cascades down the steps, and I go after it, pick it up, and there is a 3-second rule or whatever, and start gnawing on the bones and sucking the marrow out of it.
Lovely.
I'm as happy as Barkin Larkin could ever be.
Indeed. But what it does with a 5 is it alerts Arkwright to your position. You see this rather wiry man with this big satchel that's he's probably about the same size as you, actually, Jellybean. He stops, he's carrying it in front of him, and his kind of his glasses fall off, and he goes, "Ow, shoot, and he's currently looking at the sides, looking at whether or not he wants to jump off onto another train. He's not over the right platform at the moment, but there is a train beneath him. He's looking in that direction. So, just as an aside, I'm going to roll 1d6. This is what's called a fortune roll. Grimlyn, as you're in this situation and you're kind of looking around, you just notice that a copy of today's newspaper has been left on a bench, and you notice that it says that Mrs. Loveday Boone crushed by falling masonry.
Right.
She's alive. But
okay.
But she's not going to walk again. It is said in the society papers that she will be not hosting any dinner parties for quite some time.
Probably just in her head, Grimlyn will be, and everyone will be very grateful for that. Some such utterance, but yeah. There will be a sense of sort of justice about the way that she's treated other people, that there is some kind of comeuppance for people like that.
Yes. And it says there's also a subtitle of mysterious house thief gets away with the silver. It is thought that maid Lizette is still at large. It sounds like your destruction allowed her to get away with it.
Sorry.
So, yes, that's just something you notice in passing. However, this guy is currently there with Barkin on the floor, snaffling away at this. I imagine it's really noisy and greasy, and there's bits of chicken going everywhere. A small boy kind of gasps as a bit of chicken flicks up into his face. What do the three of you want to do with
How
this guy?
far away is Arkwright?
Probably about 20 meters away from you at the moment.
So,
Not very far at all. Yeah.
I'd like to try and get up to him
Okay.
if possible.
And what would you like to do when you get there?
Everyone's still distracted with Barkin.
Yeah.
I'll try and sort of use sway, I guess, but try and get his attention basically. Like, oh, sir, you look like a friendly sort, and I'm a bit frightened of what's going on over there, and I wonder if you could help me.
Give me a sway roll, please. He has already seen you, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you're,
Well, no, he does know who I am.
he does know who you are, but you can still give me a sway roll to see if he's distracted by everything else that he's gonna. A 6. He's kind of looking over at Barkin and everyone else at the moment as you come up to him and say that, and he kind of looks across to you. He's like, well, no, I can't help you. No, go away, buzz off. What are you doing? Go away. Get out of here, get out of here, you scratty brat.
All right. Well, that was mostly just supposed to be to just make sure he's distracted. I guess.
Yeah, he's kind of
looking to run away.
Yeah, he's like,
stab him.
Okay. Give me a roll.
Yep.
You are aware that deaths in Blades in the Dark are a serious thing,
Well, he might not die.
but they're a serious thing. So roll me.
But I will stab him somewhere.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
Okay, that's fine. Give me a roll. How would you want to roll this? Yeah.
Well, I've got finesse, so
Okay.
because I'm gonna use like a small knife and like maybe puncture his lung or something.
Okay.
So he's gonna go down, and I can take back the stuff.
So I'm happy to give you a devil's bargain here if you want.
All right. Yeah.
Will you accept the devil's bargain? Don't have to tell you the terms until you accept it. Until you say you want to take a devil's bargain. Well, no, sorry. No, I can tell you. Sorry. Yeah, no, I can tell you. So I will give you an extra dice.
Yeah.
If you accept my devil's bargain, I will give you an extra dice. He will definitely, he's going to get stabbed, whether you succeed or fail.
Right.
But if you fail, you kill him.
Okay.
Do you accept? So you get an extra D6 then.
It's a good laugh. Why not? Okay. Haha!
Critical success. Okay. So describe what Jellybean does when she stabs him.
So Jellybean's, super cute and everything, and then she just pulls this kind of little stiletto knife out of somewhere, and oh sir, could you help me? And he's like, no, and she just, and as he goes, oh, she's like, don't need your help anyway, and take the stuff back.
Blimey, yeah. So yeah, he kind of he goes, and now just back. Oh, and grabs his side and goes, you little bird, and falls to the ground as he's holding his side. As he you can't see the blood yet. As he's kind of holding onto it, which is with a critical success. He's like, oh,
put the stuff in my bag.
Oh. So he's still got the satchel, which you can just kind of take and put back on again. What do you want to do as a party? What are you doing?
Yeah, go back to everyone else and just go, it's time to go.
So, how are you going to escape from here? Let's look to Vixen or Grimlyn. Vixen. Sorry, Grimlyn. Have either of you got a plan?
I feel like misdirection is key. So let me think. Can we do flashbacks given that we didn't really plan this?
Yeah, you probably had about kind of 20 minutes to sort of a half an hour. Or you can have things from heists before, time before, where you would just have an item because that you would have had around and you would have picked up before you left.
Okay. So this is a crazy plan.
Go ahead.
But if we're in need of distraction, I can imagine that Grimlyn thought if we need to distract some people, the only people going to go on trains are probably people with sort of enough money to afford tickets. So they probably won't like rats. So she would have kind of rounded up somebody who could sell her a few rats, and she's basically just going to chuck them at some nearby people. Well-off people who hopefully, particularly if they look particularly delicate or particularly rich, they might have, scream or start like trying to hit them if they've got like sticks and stuff, and generally cause a bit of chaos to enable us to slip away.
After our Larkin going off, and suddenly there's rats everywhere.
I love it. Are these rats supposed to be alive or dead?
Alive rats.
Wonderful. So, you can roll for it, or I can offer you a devil's bargain.
Oh gosh.
Well, I can offer you a devil's bargain to add an extra dice to it if you want to up the stakes somewhat more.
I mean, I was thinking that probably finesse was the way to go because it's about kind of manipulation, like physical manipulation. But I only have one dice, so I don't know. Can I push myself? That seems a bit weird.
You can push yourself if you want to take 2 stress. You haven't had a chance to de-stress yet.
That's okay. I don't have too much stress, so I will push myself to get an extra dice.
Brilliant. So,
just see where that goes.
Yes, roll it. So, what did you get? I guess that's a 2 and a 2. So, this is a 1 stress flashback. So, you effectively take 3 stress there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the guy does not have rats at that moment in time. It is a wonderful plan, but he doesn't have any live rats. He's only got dead ones.
Okay.
Unless you want to throw a load of dead rats.
No, because the idea is they cause chaos. Throwing dead rats just makes you look weird.
You are with Barkin Larkin.
Yeah,
no, it was a wonderful idea. Unfortunately, the dice do tell a story, and the guy, he's just like, live rats are hard to get hold of.
Yeah.
Dead ones is much easy. You poison a trap for dead ones. Got to run after them with me little hook for the live ones. Vixen, do you have any ideas of how to get out of here?
I'm not sure if it'll get us out or not, but I was considering going up to Barkin, calling out. Let's go with Anthony. Oh, we discussed this before. God, you're always embarrassing me. Come here. Get.
Wonderful. So, what skill do you want to use to try and convince people that you are together and what are you trying to convince people of, actually? That Barkin's a bit strange?
Yeah, it's more just kind of mad, but it's not kind of unknown. It's an embarrassment to us, but it's not anything that out there for his page.
Try to soothe things, yes, I understand. Smooth things over. Give me a roll for it.
Deception is the way, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, hope you're okay with this, Barkin. Let's see, I think I'm going to have to
We
push
can't hear you
myself.
barking, I'm afraid.
I said we will see.
Mm. So,
Okay, so let's push it. This is
yeah.
important.
Oh,
Wonderful.
right.
Success.
Another critical success. This is fantastic.
Makes up
Oh,
time where it's just ones all the way.
this is, oh, yeah. So, describe the scene. I mean, with the critical success, Barkin, I will let you be in on this as well. You snap to your senses for a moment, and the two of you can describe to me this scene of what the two of you want to do.
Okay, so I'll be jogging up to Barkin, sort of running over, making explanations, excuses about how we talked about this. This shouldn't be happening. Get over to Barkin, say, looks like we're done. Let's go get you back, get the spirits, and let's just get out of here. And
I stand up. I say, it's a miracle. I am cured. The madness has been driven from me. Come, let us go and celebrate. And just walk off.
Wonderful, and yeah, that is adequate distraction, as people are actually not paying attention to the bloke on the floor clutching his side, going, "Oh blimey, this really hurts. Oh no, I think, oh God help me." Everyone's kind of clapping and going, "Oh, look at that, he was cured. Oh, he's wonderful, wonderful." Well, I mean, it must be some sort of divine intervention. Oh, well, strange things happen around here. And so, you manage to get back the prize. And once again, you all find yourselves back at Auntie Helen's with the documents in front of you and with the medal in the bell jar. And this time, Sark goes, "Look, I think this time I'm going to trust you guys to fence this when you're ready. These documents, I'm going to get a safe for them. So, yeah, I guess it's really up to you all what you do next. But you've all, oh, God. If I ever see that Art Gright again, I'm going to wring his bleeding neck, little so-and-so."
He won't come back again if he's wise.
Exactly. And so we go now to the last portion of Blades in the Dark, as you've completed the score, both scores. Well done. First, the payoff. Well, for a job such as this, you will be getting 7 coin. And that is before. That's assuming you fence the thing and find out more about it. However, 7 coin. That's kind of a good payoff. You don't have to fence it immediately, though. The next thing is heat. So, how much heat did you take from this job? Well, you took 4 heat, which meant it was loud and chaotic, quite high exposure. There were lots of things that happened publicly in this one that were seen by a lot of people. So your heat has gone up. If the heat was against a high profile or well-connected target, well, yes, you get an extra one, so that's 5 heat. You weren't on hostile turf, and you're not at war with another faction, and killing was not involved because he didn't die, and the lady didn't die either. So you don't have a wanted level yet, so you're all right. That means we go to entanglement. So your heat is 4 to 5. So I roll a d6 and see what happens. So this means 3. So that means there is going to be some questioning. So because of what happened at the station, questions will be asked of the people around, because it does turn out someone was stabbed, and it eventually does surface that there was a bit of a stabbing at the station. A couple of people maybe have seen you do it, and that's causing some questions to be raised. They don't quite know it was you, but they were aware someone was stabbed at the station, and that's that's the blue cloaks asking that information. But you're not terrible right now. So now we go to downtime activities. So I would like to, I'm going to go around you one at a time and ask you what your downtime activity would be, and we'll get you to roll. You'll get you to roll for it. So Barkin, what is your downtime activity?
I would like to get myself possessed by a ghost.
Well, you have a ghost that can possess you.
Well, I mean, with this one, I think using the documentation, sort of reading them, what I would like to do is attempt to calm the spirit, tell the spirit of all this documentation that can be used against, obviously, well, I'm assuming, the victim of this eye gouger.
Yeah.
And sort of try and get the spirit to perhaps choose the fate of his victim. Which one of these things does the spirit want to wreak the vengeance upon? It might not be possible. It might just want to destroy him itself. But that is what I'm attempting to do.
Okay. So this is, again, I've kind of picked for you here because normally in downtime you get to choose to acquire asset, long-term project, recover, reduce it, train, or indulge vice.
Yeah, this is vices.
But yes, I'd like you to, this is for stress relief. So what I would like you to roll is your weakest quality, insight, prowess, or resolve. So you make an attribute roll if you have, no.
Sorry, do you want me to list them?
Yep. So you've got insight, prowess, or resolve. Which one is your lowest? Which one do you have the lowest number of total dots? Prowess. How many dots do you have in that?
None.
Right. So I would like you to roll 2d6, and we take the lowest roll, please.
Okay. You will have to do that for me.
Yes. Okay. So you lose stress equal to 1.
Right. Okay.
However, you don't overindulge, which is really good. So the spirit comes out of this thing and is angry, but you take it into you. You think it might take a few more sessions though to get it down, and in fact that might be a long-term project you could take on. But you commune with the spirit, you take it into you, you have a good time. Jellybean, what would you like to do with your downtime? Do you want to indulge your vice to reduce some stress? What's your vice?
So Jellybean's vice is practicing stabbing people.
Okay, so take your lowest stat.
Out of.
So which one? Insight, prowess, resolve. Which one do you have the lowest amount of dots in the first column?
Insight has none.
Okay, again 2d6, and we take the lowest. And where do you practice this stabbing?
Depending on sort of what kind of gang thing she's got, somewhere that's a bit, I guess, out of her parents' house.
Okay.
And
do you have like a dummy you use?
Yeah. So there'll be like some like meat, I guess.
Yeah.
And if she can like arrange it and study some anatomy, maybe if she gets to watch some other people in dodgy fights, and then she's like this, no, like this,
yeah. And yes, with the one you remove one stress from yourself, and the butcher that you that's kind of in the know with you, you slip him some of your family's coin, and he goes, that's enough tenderizing for one day. Oh, what a young munchkin. We'll go to Vixen next. Vixen, what would you like to do? Would you like to indulge a vice?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go maybe with Tracy. She did help us with the uniforms and things, and go to have a spa day and indulge in some luxury.
Oh, lovely. So what is your lowest stat?
I have one in both resolve and prowess.
Brilliant. So just roll 1d6, please. Brilliant. So you remove 3 stress. Does that take you below your stress threshold? I imagine it wouldn't with the amount of stress you've taken in this session.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So you lose 3 stress, and Tracy was so pleased that the uniforms worked out for you. You've strengthened your bond with Tracy, and she is more than happy to just relax and indulge for a day with you. She even gets the drinks in on her. And finally, but by no means least, Grimlyn, what would you like to do? Would you like to indulge a vice to reduce some stress?
Yes, very much so.
What is
So-
your vice?
Grimlyn will go to a sort of, I don't know, like a tea house where they have like tea and cakes, and like that they bring them to your table on like a little stand,
Yeah.
and serve you with the little forceps and the little tweezers, and
Yes.
yeah. That very much kind of looking at it from a sort of wanting to be higher station than she is, I guess, is what it's like, pretending like she's kind of better off and things. So yeah, eating tea and cake.
Wonderful.
Cake that's not stale.
Yeah. So again, looking down your first column of dots, what's your lowest stat of insight, prowess, and resolve? What's the one?
Resolve.
Have you got
Don't
one
have
or
one.
one? So roll 1d6, please. And how much stress are you currently on?
I am on 6.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, you reduce it by 2 to 4. If you ever go over that limit, you overindulge, which means you either brag or attract trouble. You get lost, where you disappear for a few weeks. You're tapped, where basically your vice purveyor cuts you off. And imagine if you're cut off in a tea room. Whoa, what would you have to do to be cut off with that? Blimey.
Like pouring the tea down a bit. It's like, you've had
Look,
enough.
I'm very sorry, madam. You have had enough cake. No, brilliant. Yes, you sit in this wonderful parlor, and just for a moment, your eyes go across the room, and you don't know if it's just a trick of the light or whether it's something else. But just for the briefest moment, you meet eyes with a lady, and she raises a cup to you. And then she's not there, as you realize there was no lady there. It just must be how the shadows fall. But you're fairly certain, saluting you with her cup, it was Auntie Helen. And I want to say thank you very much to you, wonderful players, for playing the game, playing Blades in the Dark. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I have very thoroughly enjoyed that. I really like the number of criticals we got, number of 6s we got. I hope, players, you all enjoyed it. I'm just going to ask if there's anything anyone wants to say or any additional comments anyone wants to make. I'm not going to make you say anything or go around. So,
I mean, firstly, thank you very much for running it. It was a blast again. I really love your style of game mastery. It's beautiful. The world has become alive for me, and it's really nice just to immerse myself in that world. So thank you very much. And it's been real fun playing with obviously Rachel, Sarah, and Kyle as well. Anybody else?
Yeah, no, it's been really good. Sorry,
Go on.
But yeah, I felt like we came together really well this session. The world had sort of, I say, developed a bit, and the 6s certainly helped to make it a bit more dynamic, I think. But yeah, we had a really good flow, I think, this time. The pacing was good, and it's been good fun.
Sarah?
Yeah, I think just reiterating what you've both said, really, it's been a great evening, and yeah, really getting to grips with the system. Love the story. Yeah, I think we gelled really well, and if for people who haven't tried the system before, definitely do give it a go, because it is absolutely just great fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything
Kyle?
from you, Kyle? Yeah, as a first-time player.
The same echoed sentiment of I really had a lot of fun. I was expecting to have more trouble with the system than I did. It seems really easy to learn. It was a great group to play with, and thank you very much for running it, Kristian.
And thank you to each one of you for being a part of it. I'm sure Andy's put the Discord channel for Twisted Narrative down in the description. And if not, I'm sure it can be edited so it's there. But please come join us over on the Twisted Narrative channel. Andy runs games all the time and has videos regularly. If you like the dice system we use, it's called dddice.com. We used it on our Shiver actual play, which I recommend you go back and watch. In fact, just watch everything Andy's done. It's amazing. Any final comments from you, Andy? Because you're the one that has to close this off, not me.
No,
It's your channel.
Yeah. No, once again, thank you very much for spending an entire evening with us, both in chat and if you're watching on catch up. I will be transferring or also uploading this video on video on demand tomorrow once it becomes live to download. But I genuinely hope you all enjoyed it. Blades is an amazing system. It's designed for role play and to kind of stop player paralysis, and I think you've kind of seen this tonight. The scenes moved into scenes, and we in effect, well, we definitely had a double, and I like the cleverness of the title there. Absolutely. So beyond that, please, if you enjoyed it, give us a like, give us a subscribe. It really helps us out. Till the next time, because I think, am I right in thinking, Kristian, that you're up for doing this in May?
May,
Yeah.
Indeed. We'll
we
confirm the date.
confirm the date soon.
And I know we've got some other live plays as well, haven't we, coming up?
Yeah. We've got next week. It's our regular Shadow Dark, which will be on Wednesday for Thursday. Then the week after, back on Tuesday, where will be a Tales from the Smoke, but it'll be Feng Shui. And I think 3 of you are in that already. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. If you, it's going to be set in the Tales of the Smoke, but if you like John Wick and you like the imagery of Gotham from Batman, that is the type of smoke that the action is the Shadow War is going to take place in. So I'm very excited about doing that as well. That'll be in a fortnight's time, same time. Hopefully we'll try and do it live, but we've had a hell of technical problems tonight. Hopefully we will have resolved them by then. But I think it's that witching hour. I think everybody wants to say good night and get some sleep. So without further
One eye
ado,
open in my case.
a big thank you to everybody again. Goodbye from me, and everybody say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Bye.